Morning, everybody.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Overreaction Monday. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Thanks, as always, for starting your week with us. Mark, how was your weekend?
My weekend was, a little busy. Daughter had a lot going on, David. Had the first gymnastics meet of the year, and boy, oh boy, there is nothing like a gymnastics meet to get your Sunday going. I mean, nothing says get ready for NFL football like a gymnastics award ceremony.
Well, a bunch of participation trophies, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we got to recognize everyone, David.
Yep.
However many there are, that's where we're start. If there's 9 in each category, we start at 9th place.
Yep. I used to say, mail it to us. Somebody grab it. We'll pick it up next time. We got to go. Yeah.
I just looked. Fortunately, it started at 10 yesterday, which meant 10:30.
Right.
But as it was a short one, it wasn't the normal long one. As it was like 12:15, 12:30. I'm like, I think they're going to get this sucker done. I'm going to be home before 1. And that was really all I cared about.
There
the 4
you go.
times that my daughter participated and then getting home before 1. I love watching her. I don't want anybody to take this and that I don't love watching my daughter participate. It's just a long, a soccer game's an hour, a softball game's an hour. I don't know. She doesn't do volleyball or basketball, but basketball took 50 minutes. I went to one of her friends' basketball games with her last week. So an hour and a half, I'm fine. But when it starts becoming a college football game, whoo,
right.
And I don't mean Army-Navy, David. That Army-Navy, we move that sucker along.
I don't know how many of you watched. So Navy gets the ball, 12 plays, 75 yards, 7.5 minutes, touchdown. Army gets the ball, 12 plays, 75 yards, 7.5 minutes, first play of the second quarter, touchdown. It's 7-7. 23 minutes has gone off the clock. We're in the second quarter. I'm like, and boy, are we behind in commercials. Oh, man. Only 3 possessions for each team in the first half. And that includes Army having like a 40-second possession to end the first half. I'm like, oh, man, do we have commercial inventory to make up. And Army-Navy is sold out every year. So
of course it is.
Yeah.
The game's sold out. The inventory's sold out.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people clamoring Saturday night and Sunday, at least on X of what I saw, the college football people that I pay attention. I was a little surprised that there were many clamoring to keep that its own day. I don't know if that'll happen. We don't think it can, but there were a lot of people calling for that. I will say, David, I get that they wear different uniforms. I turned the game on mid-second quarter. And one of your chief complaints about a football game is when you turn it on, you should know who is who.
Yep.
And David, when I turned it on, I had to stare for a while to figure out, wait for it, who's who. I'm just saying, I know you love everything about the game, but I'm going to hit you where it hurts. Because when I turned the game on to watch it, I went, who's Navy?
Well, when I first watched warm-ups, I went, so the Black Knights have virtually no black in their uniforms, and what's with the copper helmet? But of course, then you start reading the press notes, and there's historic reasons, and you're honoring this division and this, that, and it's like, oh, okay. But
I
yes,
know there's always a reason, and I know it's always a significant reason. I get it, but here's the thing. While I'm sitting in Southwest Florida on a Saturday afternoon going, I got to get the game on, I don't have the press notes in front of me. I just have a television.
Right. No, I know. But yeah, I mean, the helmets and the uniforms are such, they're always honoring past and present, divisions and teams and what have you. And so that's why the uniform and helmet makeup, like Army had a silver helmet. I'm like, I ain't never seen one of these before. So,
but
yes.
A great game, right down to the wire, very exciting game, close game, over in a hurry for you, David. So, and then obviously, the beginning and the end, you can't top. And that led us to the Heisman. And David, I know you were probably finishing up what you were doing at the stadium. I don't know what your travel plans were after the game, if you went right to Pittsburgh, if you stayed in Baltimore. And usually, I don't ever watch the Heisman. I don't. But there's nothing on. And we're sitting around and getting ready for dinner and what have you. And I just put it on. After Army Navy, I said, let's watch the Heisman. And after 57 minutes of hoopla, we finally got down to the award.
Right.
I have to admit, it was one of the all-time speeches I've heard by a young athlete. There are, I remember, because I'm a Michigan State guy, there was 2 years in a row at the Big Ten. Kirk Cousins was one, and I forgot who the next year was, but they were great. They were speeches, and you went, wow, listen to these guys talk about how much they love the game of football and how important college football is to them. And then Mendoza gets up there Saturday evening and gives just an unbelievable speech for any human, let alone a young man who plays college football. An inspiring speech, wonderful speech, honoring, his mom, his family, his heritage, everything about it I thought was terrific. And I don't usually watch those things, and I usually don't get caught up in them, but I thought he was sensational, David.
He was so well-spoken that you thought he had the speech in a prompter, but it turns out that he memorized it. And he was the overwhelming favorite going in, so, he had a pretty good idea he was going to win. And all during the week, he was picking up one award after another. And, I didn't see it live, and I stayed in Baltimore overnight, got back to the hotel right around the time that the Heisman thing was beginning, and, was having a quick dinner when found out that he won, which, wasn't that unexpected. I was curious if Pavia finished second, which he did. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good showing. And then it did get me thinking, and I did see the speech later on social media and was impressed, Mark, like you were. But a kid from Indiana just won the Heisman, and a kid from Vandy just finished second. Meanwhile, the star quarterback at Ohio State finished fourth, and the star running back at Notre Dame finished third. I mean, if this year, the coaching news and carousel, but the teams that are in the playoff, contended for the playoff, and then the Heisman vote, it was like, wow, man, are these different times. And I know some people don't like them. And I know that there are people in college football that think that it's about to carry them out of control. And maybe it will. I mean, if they just make them employees, but anyway. But I just thought that the Heisman vote, Mark, represented the 2025 season perfectly. A first-time winner from Indiana, and the Vandy quarterback finished second, while the star Notre Dame running back and Ohio State quarterbacks finished a distant third and fourth. Now granted, you got to go back a ways, but a Notre Dame tailback and quarterback won the Heisman on a 2-8 team. There were times, Archie won his back-to-back Heismans. Not sure about the second one if you go back and look at that year in college football and, the season certain people put up. But this is Notre Dame and Ohio State. And the Indiana quarterback and the Vandy quarterback finished first and second. It was like, wow, this is 2025.
And for as well as the Indiana quarterback handled everything, and except for his emotions for a little bit, which you can't blame the young man with everything that goes on in his life. It was terrific. It really was. The Vandy quarterback had to apologize the next day because, he acted like an ass.
Wow.
You didn't see it. Diego Pavia put out a picture with his team in which he said, F all the voters, but family for life. He did apologize the next day. I have to note that, but enjoy the UFL.
So you think this will hurt him?
No, I didn't think he was NFL quarterback before yesterday.
Oh, okay.
No. David, I think he's perfect for the UFL, and I'm not joking. He's a name everybody knows. He could be good. I'd rather see him there than be a third-string, maybe practice squad guy in the NFL. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I never had. I thought, let's enjoy the hell out of this guy on Saturday. He is a riot to watch. You know how much I enjoyed watching him the last 2 years. But no, I never really thought of him as an NFL quarterback. How tall is he? 5'8"?
Well,
Spud Webb thought about posting him up, for crying out loud.
Hello. Is that another 40-year-old reference in the monologue?
At least, yes.
Well done. Well done.
We try. It's one of the things we thrive upon on this show. But it's an Overreaction Monday, and boy, oh boy, some teams that were asked to prove it yesterday did just that. I'm talking to you, Denver Broncos. Prove it moment with the Green Bay Packers in town, and your quarterback played maybe the best game he's played all year. Certainly in a big moment. There was the comebacks. There was some great fourth quarters by Bo Nix. But Bo Nix looked really solid throughout the game last night.
Yes, he did.
Or yesterday.
And meanwhile, the Patriots had a 21-0 lead. The AFC East was right there. And they let it slip away. They'll probably win it at the end. But Buffalo let everybody know, I wouldn't count us out of this AFC playoff picture just yet, boys. We got Josh Allen, and that could be good enough in the AFC. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
The holidays are here, and we're wall-to-wall with thousands of GIA diamonds, 350 diamond bracelets, 225 pair of diamond studs, and thousands of other fine jewelry pieces, including Rolex watches.
And this is where Todd and I come in. We're in the store, right here with you, making sure you get the best value.
With this kind of selection and us guiding you through it, your gift will be the star of the season.
Visit the Diamond District today. Hablamos Español.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Sonny, I mean, yeah, you can take away the play calling from them, but they gave up 40. I mean, I don't get much right, but I told David that they'd have to score 42 to win. Said it on Friday. I was right. They can't stop anybody. They're no good. It's 2 years in a row. The defense has been, hurt, not good enough. And they still got a shot because Chicago's got a tough schedule. They've got to win out now. And if Chicago wins out, they're in, I believe. I think they're in the driver's seat, obviously. Chicago's back in first. But Detroit needs Chicago to lose once before that last game. Do you know who's really bad? Las Vegas.
Yeah.
How about Rob Reiner?
Unbelievable. His kid did it.
Is that what they found out?
Wonderful. They think they had a son who's battled addiction for a very long time, and they think the son killed them both.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's an Overreaction Monday. What are we, about a week and a half away from the big fella? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. So put a fork in the Chiefs. Who'd have thunk it, period? Who thought heading into this season that they would miss the playoffs? Number one. If by chance you did think they were going to miss the playoffs, did you think they would be mathematically eliminated with 3 weeks to go? And unless they run the table, which is very unlikely with a backup quarterback, they're going to finish with a losing season. Snapping Mark a remarkable string. Not only had they made the playoffs 10 straight years, last time they missed the playoffs was 2014, and even that season they had a winning record. But 7 consecutive appearances in the AFC Championship game. Now, the Patriots did it 8 in a row, 2011 through 2018. And the Patriots had a stretch there where they made the playoffs the final 11 seasons of Brady's career in New England, 2009 through 2019. They would have had a remarkable playoff run, except for the fact that in 2008, when Brady got hurt, they missed the playoffs going 11-5. But, Mark, your thoughts on the Chiefs and losing Mahomes, and we're not sure for how long since he tore his left ACL in mid-December, and the season begins in less than 9 months.
Well, that part I'm sick about. You know me, David. I just want to see, particularly on Sunday. The pageantry on Saturday is great. It is. Saturday won me back this year. I've enjoyed college football in 2025 maybe more than I've ever enjoyed it before. But on Sundays, I like to watch the best players play. So I'm sick about Mahomes being hurt. What I'm curious about now is, what does this mean going forward for the Chiefs? Is Kelsey done? He was pretty productive this year. But is this it? He's not a young man. I don't know how many more years he has and how much of that depends on when Mahomes is coming back. Andy Reid, is he coming back? Now, I can't see Andy Reid retiring and riding off into the sunset. But where is this franchise? We knew there were a lot of holes on this team. Their defense is good, but lacks a pass rush. Jones plays when he wants to play, and he's getting up there. The offensive line needs work. They don't seem to have a running game whatsoever, and Andy Reid never really seems to care. So I look at it, David, as what's next for Mahomes and the Chiefs. You know, after Brady and that injury, and throughout the Brady-Belichick era, they changed their identity a handful of times. What's the next act for the Kansas City Chiefs? And how much, if any, does this ACL inhibit Mahomes from doing what he does so well? And that's get out of the pocket, extend plays, run when he needs to for first downs more times than not. So I'm already kind of advancing this one, David, and thinking, what does this mean going ahead for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, Terry Bradshaw said something that made me think. He said, you know, when I was with the Steelers, and granted, that was a long time ago, but he said, when I was with the Steelers, you know, we won 2 Super Bowls, and then we kind of had to regroup for a couple years. And then we won 2 more. And he said, I wonder if this is just a season or 2 of regrouping for Kansas City. Now, I will say, the regrouping years for the Steelers, they made the playoffs both times. The one year they lost in the AFC Championship game, the other year they lost in the divisional round. But I digress. Mark, I'll be curious if the Chiefs have the courage to maybe take a step back. Like the Patriots kept on keeping on, if you know what I mean. And remember, they finished with 11 consecutive playoff appearances from Brady and the boys after he got his knee blown out and he missed all but a quarter of the 2008 season. So they never really, they retooled on the fly, but they never transitioned, if you will. They never took their gap year to go out with the old and in with the new, if you know what I mean. Get your cap situation straight, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, Mark, I was sick when I found out Mahomes got hurt. Sick. I mean, come on. He's the face of the league. He's the best player in the league. Come on.
But there are, I don't know about happy, but there are people that are happy that the Chiefs aren't making the playoffs.
Oh, very much.
If we had a poll question today, your level of joy because the Kansas City Chiefs won't be in the playoffs, I think that's a fair question today because a lot of people had enough of the Chiefs. You and I, and for the record, we were the same way when the Patriots were going. We've been doing this long enough that we went through the whole Patriot thing. And while Patriot fan became a little much, Chiefs fan where we live, we don't see. I'm not bothered by the Chiefs, and I don't see this overload of fans. I get the whole Taylor Swift thing bothers some people because she gets put on television, but I just think get over yourself. But when the Patriots had it going, Miller and Moulton were like, give us more.
Yeah. Yeah, we love greatness. Don't care the team. Now I will say it's going to be difficult to say, give me more Oklahoma City Thunder, but Miller and Moulton are going to have to adjust. I mean, because they ain't going anywhere for a while. But we digress. Yes, there's no doubt. Chiefs fatigue, Chiefs envy, jealousy, and so I think people are thrilled that they're missing the playoffs. I don't know anybody who could be happy Mahomes got hurt. I mean, come on. If so, I really don't want to know you. Be perfectly honest. If you're rooting for people to get hurt, keep it to your damn self. But yes, 9 months from now is mid-September next year. Now, granted, he's not, obviously a wide receiver and a running back, but still, like you talked about, he moves around a lot. And with that offensive line, he has to. Is he even ready for the beginning of next year? I mean, next year is in doubt now for the Chiefs.
I think he'll be ready for week 1. I do. Don't ask me why. I mean, that time frame seems doable. He works hard. I watched that. They all do. But, I mean, when I watched that quarterback show that they had on Netflix, he puts in the work, both on and off the field. So that's not going to quit. He's going to rehab hard. He doesn't want to miss a game. So I think if he's not back by week 1, it's, week 4 latest, if you know what I mean. But the playoffs have changed. There's no Kansas City. And that scream you heard were from the executives of CBS.
Hey, NBC's got the Super Bowl. They wouldn't have minded them in that game either.
No, you're right. You're right. But when you're looking at division leaders right now and thinking, oh boy, television ratings, what do you got in the AFC? You got Denver, and I guess New England will bring people back, but I mean Jacksonville and then a bad Pittsburgh team that can't sell tickets to their games right now. Trust me, our Monday night tickets are still for sale. They play tonight. Ticketmaster offered about 40% face value to buy them early. That's where David is, by the way, in Pittsburgh for Monday Night Football. The surging Miami Dolphins. They're surging, David.
Yeah, they had a bad day yesterday. Everybody immediately in front of them won. Their playoff hopes are all but dashed. The starting 5 is next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Jacksonville went to town yesterday. We split the two games we disagreed on.
Yep. I had you at 1 and 4. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
David, I don't know if you're aware, but Carolina was up 10 or up 7 going to the fourth quarter. Up 7. I believe that is 12 in a row that Carolina has lost. I don't know if it's road favorites or straight up favorites, but they have lost now 12. Because I saw a stat that it was 11 in a row straight up.
Wow. And the Tampa Bay Bucks are saying, well, listen, you ruined our season, so the least you could do is ruin theirs too.
I can't find it, so I can't quote it. There's a lot of little things that have nothing to. Well, did you see the Hail Lake Mary?
Yes.
Did you also see how the team in Louisiana lost the state title.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. I'm in Pittsburgh. It's 11 degrees. It's going to get to about 21 today. It'll be around 17, 18 degrees at kickoff. Should remain that temperature during the game. Winds might bring the temperatures into the single digits in terms of wind chill. So not going to be as windy today as it was yesterday. Mark, it was cold yesterday. I mean, I'm talking like a wind chill right around the big donut.
No, I understand what you're talking about. I mean, I think we haven't even hit 60 yet today, David.
No, I know. It's chilly where you are too, right? I mean, it may only get to the mid-70s in Southwest Florida today.
Now, I did not issue a sock advisory for Southwest Florida. I braved it out. I'm going flip-flops. Yep.
Handling that cool weather, all right, with the necessary toughness.
I mean, these are good days around these parts. You open the house up in the morning, save a little money on your AC in the afternoon.
Yep.
Cool the place right down.
Yep. You don't have to open it up for long in these parts. I'll tell you that. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. BST.
It's a BFD.
Have a BLT in Lee County, Florida while enjoying a heavy dose of BST. NFL. J-A-G-S. Jags. 5 in a row. Whew. They took it to the Jets. I know the Jets are bad, but do you know statistically Trevor Lawrence had a game that no quarterback has ever had before? 5 touchdowns passing and 300-plus yards, and then 50 or more yards rushing and a rushing touchdown for a 6-touchdown performance I mean, it had a statistical quality to it that no quarterback had ever had. It's remarkable. Jags 48-20, they're 10-4. The playoffs, they can feel it. They can taste it. Not there yet, but oh so close. Game ahead of Houston. Texans have won 6 in a row. They took it to Arizona 40-20. They're a game back of the Jags. Right now, they would have the tiebreaker, though. So with the Jags headed to Denver, one slip up here and the Texans could still take the division away from Jacksonville. The Chiefs are dead. Long live the Chiefs. We'll see how long it lasts. And to add injury to insult, Patrick Mahomes late in the game tore his left ACL. The Chargers, hell of a week for the Chargers. Beat the Eagles and the Chiefs, two teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. 16-13 LA, coming back from a 13-3 deficit to win their 10th game of the year. Phillip Rivers, come on now. He looked a lot better than most of you thought he was going to look.
Yeah.
He had the one play where he looked like he was a 44-year-old guy getting out of bed when he kind of stumbled on his own and got back up. And then the only time he took a sack all day. And Indy had a 16-15 lead late. And then the Seahawks kicked a 56-yard field goal at the gun to win it.
I really was thinking about you throughout that game, David, because Seattle just kept kicking field goals. And I'll be damned, they still won the game.
Yes, they did. They're 11-3, 18-16 over the Colts, who have lost 4 in a row. Rivers was 18 of 27 for a modest 120 yards, had a TD and an interception. Did you see the video of his high school team back in Alabama?
I did. That was pretty cool.
When he threw the touchdown pass,
Yep.
That room exploded. That was awesome to see. Buffalo trailed the Patriots in New England 21-0 and trailed 24-7 at the half. And came storming back, snapping the Patriots' 10-game winning streak and keeping the AFC East alive. It's still alive. 35-31 Bills. They're 10-4. The Patriots are 11-3. New England still owns the tiebreaker, however. Denver's won 11 in a row. They're 12-2 on the season. Green Bay not only lost, but it looks as if they've lost Micah Parsons to an ACL injury also. Broncos 34-26, they're 12-2. Packers fall out of first in the North with the loss, drops them to 9-4-1, a half a game behind the Bears. The Bears, who sacked Shedeur Sanders 5 times, picked him off 3 times. Yeah, not a good night or day for the folks that are all over Shedeur Sanders. Could you guys stop talking about him for a week? Could you give the rest of us a break, please? Okay? They're a bad team. He's not an NFL caliber quarterback yet. Okay? Could you just give us a rest? Please? 31-3 Bears. How about the Bears?
How about the Bears?
Tough remaining schedule, Packers, Niners, Lions. But how about the 10-4 Bears, who are the 2 seed right now? Rams came from behind, beat the Lions 41-34. Detroit's got to run the table to have any shot, realistically, of making the playoffs. They're 8-6. The Rams are the 1 seed right now at 11-3. Stafford with 368 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Niners just keep on keeping on. Best third-place team in the league, right, Mark? 10-4?
David, they are the team that I constantly think of when everybody bitches about their team having injuries. if you're a Bucks fan, if you're a Lions fan, if you're a Baltimore fan, if you're a Buffalo fan, oh, we got this guy hurt. They've got guys hurt. They just seem to win every damn week.
Brock Purdy with 3 more touchdown passes. Niners beat the Titans 37-24. Tennessee's 2-12. They would pick 3rd overall in the draft. Vegas would pick 2nd. They got shut out again in Philadelphia, 31-0. Hurts with 3 TD passes.
They're the worst team in the league. Las Vegas is. I know they're not picking first, David. I get it.
But they may.
They're not competitive.
They may still pick first, though, Mark. Right now, the Giants are on the clock. They've lost 8 in a row. Washington snapped their 8-game skid, went to Jersey, beat the Giants 29-21. Mark, not this coming week, but get your tickets now. I believe it's in Vegas.
It is.
Giants, Raiders. Loser picks number 1. Huh? All over it. Raiders are so bad, the Giants seem to me like they're tanking, and the Raiders may not let them. The Saints did it again. That sound you heard around 4:10 yesterday Eastern was from Tampa Bay. Holy mackerel. The Saints do it again. They sweep Carolina. They come from behind at home. They kick a 47-yard field goal with 2 seconds to go. New Orleans 20-17 over Carolina, drops the Panthers to 7-7 in a first-place tie with the Bucks. But at the moment, the Bucks own the tiebreaker. Tampa Bay at Carolina this weekend. Put a fork in the Cowboys. Minnesota went to Dallas. You know, remember a couple of weeks ago, J.J. McCarthy was struggling, and a lot of the veterans on the Vikings came out and said, trust us, the kid can play. Just give him a second. He can play. Last 2 weeks, kid can play. 3 TDs, Minnesota 34-26 over the 6-7-1 Cowboys. 2.5 behind Philly in the East with 3 to play. 1 more win for the Eagles. They're division champs. And how about the Ravens, who defensively have been a disaster, and the Bengals shut out? Lamar, 2 TD passes. Burrow with another pick 6. Ravens, 24-0 over the Bengals. Forcing the Steelers to win tonight at home. Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh, a 3-point favorite over the Dolphins, who have won 4 in a row. Mark, stat of the day. The Steelers have played 63 consecutive games where they have not scored more than 7 points in the first quarter. Opening day of 2022, the first game after Ben Roethlisberger retired, is the only time in the last 4 years the Steelers have scored more than 7 points in the first quarter, and the only reason they did it that day was they got a pick 6. NBA Cup. Wemby came back over the weekend. Spurs beat OKC. It'll be San Antonio and the Knicks tomorrow night for this whopping in-season NBA prize.
You know, you can poo-poo it all you want. I'm looking forward to watching Spurs Knicks because Wemby's back, and he's worth watching. Your Knicks team's fun, and Wemby is worth watching play. What he does around the basket to alter shots is like nothing we've ever seen before.
6 games in the NHL. Bad weekend for the Penguins. They blew 5-1 and 3-0 third period leads and lost both games. They lost to Utah 5-4 yesterday. Minnesota 6-1 over Boston. Oh, and the Wild acquired Quinn Hughes over the weekend.
And did so while general manager Billy Guerin was making meatballs. I'm not lying. He was mixing meatballs when the phone came from the Vancouver GM. He said I had to use rubber gloves, which even impresses me more. For the record, I did some investigating. They are not mom's meatballs. They are not dad's meatballs. They are the wife's meatballs. That's a fact. Billy Guerin mixing meatballs while making a trade.
Sabres have won 3 in a row. They beat the Kraken 3-1. Montreal 4-1 over Edmonton, who traded away Scoot Skinner over the weekend. Finally, we can be done talking about him. Vancouver 2-1 over the Devils. Carolina 3-2 in the shootout over the Flyers. Jorge Polanco, 2 years, $40 million with the Mets. Kenley Jansen, Mark, is your new closer in Detroit. A 1-year deal with a team option for a second year. He's 24 saves away from 500. He had a really good year last year at 38. Merrill Kelly back with Arizona, 2 years, $40 million. Golf, the Grant Thornton PGA LPGA team event in Naples, Florida, won by Andrew Novak and Lauren Coughlin. And a stunner in college volleyball. Nebraska was unbeaten. They had won 63 in a row at home. They had lost 7 sets all year. 7 sets in 33 matches. Texas A&M came to town and beat them in 5, 15-13 to advance to the semis.
A&M volleyball, it just means more.
And with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs being eliminated from the playoffs, the NFL playoffs next month will be conducted for the first time since 1998 without either Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories and a volleyball shocker here on Miller and Moulton.
Just to go back to Saturday, we may get to it later, but we have a little system on this show. It's college basketball
we
system.
do.
And you take the home dog when playing a ranked team. Now, when 2 ranked teams play, it doesn't apply. Home, unranked, road ranked. There were 3 on Saturday. We weren't sure about any of them. It started with Sparty. They were at Penn State. They won, didn't come close to covering. Then a little bit later, Kansas seemingly had a pretty good lead on NC State. It would go overtime. The game would be tight. Kansas would win, but they wouldn't cover. And then Michigan, the number 1 team in the land, pulled away from Maryland to win by 18. Maryland was getting 18.5.
This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Any thoughts on a poll question?
Are you happy the Chiefs will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014? Yes. No. I like watching them. Yes. Tired of them? No. I like watching them. Oh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Overreaction Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. You can watch the show. The Miller and Moulton YouTube channel. You can watch the show. More of you watching it on a regular basis. We're very appreciative of that. Miller and Moulton on this Overreaction Monday. Mark, what is there to overreact to, quite frankly, today?
Well, I guess a couple of things. I mean, obviously, you could overreact to the Saints beating both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers on consecutive weekends if we had all cared about the New Orleans Saints. The funny thing, I guess the ironic thing now, is because of all of this, David, the Saints are currently picking 7th. You and I had them on the clock. They have screwed this up. They really have. So you could overact to the Panthers, but I don't know. They're not, the Panthers, the Bucks, they're not that good. Could you overreact to, and look at, I get, and, New England was really watchable with Brady and Belichick because we had feelings about both of them. I don't know how excited the NFL world is outside of the Patriot fan because the Patriot hater may still be there. Maybe they'll, maybe they hid for a while and they'll come roaring back out. But when you look at the standings, and I give you Bo Nix, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and CJ Stroud in the playoffs, does that excite you at all in the AFC? Because the Steelers are their own thing. If they make it, they have their own following. It's like a cult. If the Ravens make it, Lamar, that adds to it, but he's not Lamar this year. So Josh Allen's the only, big name quarterback right now in the AFC. That's it.
I mean, Rodgers obviously a big name, but at 42, he's not the same guy. Well, that to me, on Friday, I laid out the case. And for the record, I took the Bills. And I think you did too.
I did, yes.
And I said, if you're the Bills, the playoffs start Sunday. And I don't think the Bills are catching the Patriots to win the East. But the Bills haven't won a road playoff game since Jim Kelly and the boys went to Miami and won the AFC Championship game in the 1992 season. Bill Clinton was not yet president the last time the Bills won a road playoff game. But, Mark, because of what you just laid out, are we really going to go all in on Bo Nix's Broncos? Are we really going to go all in on Drake May's Patriots? Are we this much of a believer on Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, who, oh, by the way, go to Denver this week? Fascinating game. Are we buying the Houston Texans, who have won 6 in a row, have playoff experience, and have the best defensive line in the league? Or do we have to bet on Josh Allen and the boys, even though they're going to have to do it away from home every time? But if they could go to New England yesterday and win, Mark, I made the case there's not a place they can't go in January because they've got Superman. In the past, Cincinnati had a Superman, Kansas City had a Superman, Baltimore had a Superman. There's one Superman in the AFC playoffs. The Bills have him. And can Superman and a good offensive line and a terrific tailback, and is that enough to get through, you have to admit, the weakest AFC in a long time, at least from an unproven standpoint?
Right now, Vegas says no, but just barely. The current odds to win the AFC, the Broncos are the odds-on favorite at plus 325. For those of you that don't know, that means if you wager $100, you'd win $325. The Bills are right behind them, though, David, plus 375. They'd have to play one more game. They'd have to do all of it on the road. Then the Patriots, Texans, Jags, Ravens, Chargers, and then the Steelers. So Vegas still believes that Baltimore's going to win the division. They play one more time. And Pittsburgh tonight, obviously, home for Miami in the cold. Let's see what the Dolphins can do against an okay team. I mean, I don't know if I'd even call them a good team. They're an average team at best, the Steelers.
Yeah,
that's what their record says. That's what their record says.
I mean, let's be honest. Carolina, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, none of them are making the playoffs if they're not playing in the division that they're playing in this year. None of them are good teams. Now, some of them were supposed to be, but none of them right now are good teams.
So I'm with you, David. When it's 21-0, I'm looking at this going, holy cow.
Yeah.
They're running over them.
They were. They had the ball 4 times, scored 3 of them. I think the Bills' first 3 possessions had 2 first downs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was a butt whooping. And, Mark, even when the Bills scored a late first-half touchdown, the Patriots did that thing that just punches you in the mouth. They quickly went down and got that field goal right before half, and you're like, son of a gun. It's a 3-possession deficit at the half on the road. But, Mark, Bills got the kickoff, touchdown, got a stop.
Quickly. And, by the way, quickly.
Yep.
They got the ball, and they scored in 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
And at that point, if you're watching, I think everybody went, huh. I think Patriot fan went, uh-oh. And I think the rest of us went, let's see what happens here. Quick stop, another score, ball game on.
You got it, 24-21. And now the Bills looked at the Patriots and said, welcome to the playoffs, boys. They've begun right now. What do you think?
And outside of what the long run by Henderson there in the second half, where he kind of cut it the other way, the Patriots had nothing offensively in the second half. Not a damn thing. And that's not a good Buffalo defense. They had nothing. So you're right, David. Bills said we're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Now they're going to have to do it as a wild card, more than likely.
Yep.
And they're going to have to do it on the road.
Yep.
And playing at Denver is no joke. A lot of teams wilt in the fourth quarter at Mile High. And Bo Nix yesterday had the game. I think a lot of us had been asking, while they were winning all these games in a row, the competition wasn't spectacular. No. They won a lot of games in ugly fashion, having to come back against bad football teams. And Bo Nix had some really nice fourth quarters, but he hadn't put together a performance in which you went, okay, but that performance can take you to the Super Bowl. Well, what did he do yesterday, David? He had that performance.
He did. No. That guy might be good enough to get a team through this year's AFC playoffs.
Right. 300 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, no picks. No.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
And there were some really good balls that he threw yesterday. Some important passes that he needed to make that he made to keep drives alive, to keep the clock moving in the second half. No. That guy, I hadn't seen that yet this year. Not against a good team. He had one great performance against a lousy team. Other than that, he's had a bunch of really good fourth quarters, and you can't discount the great fourth quarters that he's had. But it didn't look, coming back against the Giants is one thing.
Right. Squeaking out a win against the Jets. Okay. By the way, irony of ironies,
Bo Nix and the Broncos got their feet wet in the playoffs last year, Mark. Do you remember who it was against and where?
I do.
It was against Josh Allen of the Bills in Buffalo.
And they got humiliated.
Yeah, they got spanked. They did. They did. The Bills shook their hands after the game and said, boys, this is what the playoffs are like. Okay? You guys needed to learn that. It was our pleasure to show it to you. Okay? Good luck next year. See you around. This time around, they may play in Denver in mid-January. And the Broncos may look across the field at them and say, thanks for the lesson last year. We're ready for you now. Let's go, Superman.
Miller and Moulton are old school. We have a little bit of this old NBA mentality in us that in the playoffs, sometimes you got to get beat by someone good to understand what the playoffs are all about and then to figure out how to win in the postseason. And maybe that Denver loss last year was a little late 80s, early 90s NBA playoff in the East. You know what? Now I know what it is that you guys do that we've lacked. Now I've seen it firsthand.
Kind of Favre and the Packers having to go through both the Niners and the Cowboys, and it took a little while. One year they got one, couldn't get the other. Next thing you know, by the middle of the 90s, it was like, yeah, this is our turn now.
And because the Chiefs are out, and Baltimore, will see if they end up looking like Baltimore by the end of the season and make it. But right now, the AFC path is not what it's been the past few years.
No.
There's no pedigree there. And that Houston defense can travel if they get there, and it looks like they will.
No doubt. And they may win the South when all is said and done. They own the tiebreaker on Jacksonville right now. Jags could finish 12-5, and if Houston runs the table, the Texans are going to win the South.
And that's a distinct possibility for the Texans. So we shall see. The opportunity is there for someone to take the reins in the AFC, but they're going to have to take them from Josh Allen and the Bills. And we know, we get it. They've not done anything to prove that they have the reins. But when you look at the pedigree of the AFC heading into the postseason, who has more than Buffalo? If not now, when, Buffalo? If not now, when? Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Who was it who said that Josh Allen's 7-6 in the playoffs?
Left Twix.
Okay. Left Twix, you do this a lot. What do you think Aaron Rodgers' playoff record is? It's 12-10. It's very difficult to have an above 500 playoff record. Because unless you win the Super Bowl, you're going to suffer at least one loss.
I am trying very hard to get Billy Guerin on between now and when he picks the Olympic team. No. I have a buddy who's really good friends with him. Like boyhood friends.
So it was Left Twix, was it? Okay. Do you know what Peyton Manning's career playoff record was? Yes, Puck Virtue. Lee Sterling will be on Friday morning at 7. I believe Peyton Manning's career playoff record was 14-13.
I got something here, by the way.
First off, I don't know how anybody in the Twitch chat room could call me Dave. Seriously. Have you not been effing paying attention?
Wow.
And yeah, I am hungry. I haven't eaten this morning. I can't eat for an hour and a half after I take my meds. So yeah, I'm hungry. And for some of you, you don't like to see me eat. I don't know what to tell you. Look away. I'm having a chocolate-covered pretzel. Deal with it.
Chocolate-covered pretzel or hot pretzel with mustard or cheese dip? What would you go with?
Oh, hot.
Just asking.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm only eating these because I got nothing else in the room. Ran to the CVS yesterday. It was closed.
I doubt you saw it. Maybe you did, but the guy who won the DP Tour event, David, if you said his name, I still wouldn't know it. But he's got a bunker shot on a tough bunker shot on 18. And he hits it. So much so that his playing partner gives him.
Yep, saw it.
That was pretty cool. I mean, you don't see that very often on any tour. How cool was the helicopter flyover, David?
Oh, they're always cool. For some reason, the parachuters were late.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
20 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton. On X. It's an Overreaction Monday. Not quite sure what there is to overreact to. Maybe if you say that the Chiefs are going to be done for a while, that they're not going to be back in the playoffs for a couple, 2-3 years. All right, maybe that's an overreaction. Or maybe the run's over. 10 straight playoff appearances, 7 straight AFC title games, and, well, they're going to have to do more than regroup.
And obviously he's been hurt through a lot of it, but we didn't expect the Bengals to go south with Joe Burrow at the helm. So just having a great quarterback does not guarantee you a spot in the postseason.
Nope.
It is the crux of our poll question today. Are you happy that the Chiefs and Mahomes are missing the playoffs? Yes, sick of them? No, I like watching them. For the record, I'm a no. I like watching them. I like great. I like greatness. Patrick Mahomes is great. Give me greatness every time. I don't care who the team is. I don't care who their fans are. I don't care. I want great. And is there great right now in the NFL? I mean, I don't know. This Rams team looks pretty damn good. But Seattle's a solid team. I don't know when I think the Rams right now, and I know the Rams right now are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Seattle's second. So that's what Vegas thinks right now. Let me ask you a question, David. I'm going to change subjects on you. You have in the past, stop me or add to what I've missed. You would have taken large sums of money out at some point to put our logo on a NASCAR.
Yes.
You've wanted to buy billboards, pieces of a helmet. There are several different advertising things you would do if money weren't an object.
Correct.
If you really had money, and I mean stupid money you can't really comprehend having, is there anything that you could think of that you would blow a bunch of money on? And I mean, not on a house for someone. I mean, blow it. Like, gone. Like, basically, you're lighting it on fire. Do you know why? Because you can.
Probably just like a big first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament gambling bender in Vegas.
I like it, but I like what Todd Bowley did better. He is the chairman for Eldridge Industries. He's worth $9 billion. And he threw a company party in New York over the weekend. And he got himself a band to play the party. First off, he rented out the Capitol Theater in New York City for the party. And David, I don't know if you saw this, but he hired a band that perform under the name of the Dirty Bats. That means nothing to any of you unless you're aware of this story. The Dirty Bats were made up of Slash and Duff from Guns N' Roses, Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Andrew Watt. They were the core lineup. But you need singers for the band. So he got this young singer, Youngblood, who many of you don't know, and I didn't. He did a pretty good job. He got this other guy, Eddie Vedder. He fronts this band called Pearl Jam. He got the Anthony Kiedis from this band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then he got a couple more. He got somebody you liked. He got that one that I like, that Brandy Carlisle, who I'm a big fan of. She's great. And then he got Bruno Mars.
Oh.
That was the band. They played a full concert. Started out with this Youngblood guy. They did a cover of Start Me Up. They did War Pigs by Sabbath. Brandy Carlisle did one of her songs and did Black Dog by Zeppelin. Then Kiedis came out and knocked out a few songs. including Ace of Spades by Motorhead and Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers. Vedder came out, knocked down a couple Pearl Jam songs, a Stone song, an Elvis Costello song. And then they finished with Bruno Mars doing Whole Lotta Love, Roxanne, Fire by Jimi Hendrix, Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson, and Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Then they all came out together and did an all-star couple of songs. I've never begrudged money. I try not to be jealous of others' money. And, you know, I don't know how rock and roll that is when the billionaire hires a house band for his Christmas party, but damn it, what's the point of having FU money if you can't say FU once in a while, David? Because that's real life FU money. That's not Billions on Showtime. That's a guy running out of theater and getting some of the best names in rock and roll to come play your Christmas party.
Whew.
They did 24 songs. 24. This was no little thing. They did 24 songs. So this is 3 hours plus of music.
Well, it's certainly 2.5. Like, you know, I went to a Springsteen concert recently. He did 27 songs in a 2-hour and 40-minute show. So, yeah. Uh-huh.
Videos out there of a lot of it. It's spectacular.
That'll work.
Yeah. I started seeing the videos over the weekend, and the first one I saw was Bruno Mars doing Whole Lotta Love. And I'm like, Bruno Mars and Slash are playing together?
Right. Where is this?
And then I started having to look it up, and it was a private event. So if you work for Eldridge Industries, because they are headquartered in Miami and New York and offices in London and things like that, man, oh man. How about that? The boss says we're having the Christmas party at the Capitol Theater. Probably be a good idea if you show up.
No,
how's that honey baked ham, David?
And movie tickets. Did get the $25 gift certificate for the honey baked ham and 2 free movie tickets.
How much did the honey baked ham cost?
$12 more than the gift certificate.
So for all of you bosses out there, you know, when you're thinking Christmas bonuses, just remember you can't compete with Todd Bowley from Eldridge Industries.
How many employees are standing there going, this is pretty amazing, but I wish he had taken this money and divvied it up, spread it out.
How come I think the big people there got pretty good Christmas bonuses on top of it?
Yeah, I'm guessing he didn't stop there. Dirty Diana, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. In concert, huh?
Right.
Damn.
So I thought that I mean, I've been watching videos from that all weekend long going, man, oh man, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Not maybe as cool, though, as the Lake Hail Mary. Lake Mary won the Florida State title over the weekend on the wildest Hail Mary that I've ever seen. Quarterback rolls right, chucks it towards the end zone, probably gets to the goal line. The defensive players go to knock it down and bat it down. They bat it back towards the line of scrimmage. A Lake Mary player catches at about the 6-yard line. He's running toward the end zone. He is stopped. He's being tackled at about the 2. When another receiver smartly comes and runs up to the ball carrier, steals the ball from him, and runs into the end zone as the clock expires, completing the Hail Mary and the victory for Lake Mary.
And what state was it where a team was in a kneel down, final play, kneel down, they win the state title, they get a celebration penalty, turnover on downs with 20 seconds to go, and the other team scores and wins?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The holidays are here, and our special showcases of overstocks and estate jewelry is waiting.
50% off diamond bracelets, rings, earrings, pendants, even stunning colored gemstone jewelry with tanzanite, sapphire, rubies, and more.
Todd and I are in the store every day to help you uncover the perfect gift.
Wrap up a little magic this year.
Hurry in. These 50% off deals won't last. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Zeus, what up?
Well, they prayed to you, Jesus, and you delivered. But now they're picking seventh. All right, couple of things. I don't know who said them. I just read them in the last 10 or so minutes. Jason Garrett never started a playoff game. He filled in relief of Aikman on Thanksgiving. It was, I think, 94, maybe 95, but I think it was 94. Filled in relief of Aikman. And he was the third string quarterback, so I think Rodney Peete was the backup. He was hurt too. And he played the Packers. He beat them. Not a playoff game. It was Thanksgiving. Cowboys were just better than the Packers then. No, Kozar just backed up in 93 for the last, 6 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs. Then I think Bernie went to back up Marino. But don't quote me on that. If you look up quarterbacks, I mean, outside of, Bradshaw had a great playoff record, obviously. But, even the great Stabler, they'd lost every year except one. But, Montana, Aikman, Brady, Mahomes. I mean, there are very few with amazing playoff records. You know, Peyton Manning barely above 500. Aaron Rodgers barely above 500. You know, Favre, I think, was, I could look it up, but I mean, 13 and 11, supposedly. You know, it's probably the biggest thing Eli's got going for him to get into the Hall of Fame. You know, but Peyton won 2 Super Bowls. He's a game over 500.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour on this Overreaction Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. So what's your gut feeling about the Chiefs? I mean, now they're the third best team in their division. After being the best team in the division, I mean, another streak that goes by the boards this year, they had won the AFC West for 10 consecutive years. Made the playoffs 10 consecutive years. They had won the West. Well, 9 consecutive years. Broncos won it in Peyton's final year of 2015 when they won the Super Bowl. Chiefs made the playoffs, didn't win the division. So, Mark, they had won 9 straight AFC Wests. They'd made the playoffs 10 years in a row. They had played in 7 consecutive AFC championship games. Now, barring a 3-0 finish, they're not only going to miss the playoffs, they're going to have a losing season. Travis Kelce's likely headed to retirement. Patrick Mahomes is 31 years of age next year, still recovering on opening day in all likelihood from a torn ACL.
Well, I got to ask you a question first. Help me out. While the Patriots went on their long run and the 1 year Brady was hurt, that they still put up 10-6 and missed the playoffs. Who was their competition in that division? How many times did they have real competition in the East?
Remember the 2 years with Rex Ryan and the Jets, the one that they went to the AFC title game, but the 1 year they did it as a 9-7 team. I think the next year, when they beat the Patriots in the divisional round, I think they were a 10 or 11 win team. But, you know, Miami won 11 games in 2008, you know, stole the division from them. Brady got hurt week 1. And, you know, Dolphins won an 11-5 tiebreaker. You know, then the Jets had the back-to-back years. But Buffalo was a mess.
Right.
You know, the Buffalo was an absolute mess. I don't know if the Bills, maybe they had one 10-win season in like a 15-year span. You know, didn't make the playoffs. So you're right. No, they were playing in the worst division, arguably, in the league.
And that's, you know, largely what happened in the AFC West for most of this. The Chargers had an okay team here and there. They were coached horribly. And the Broncos were a mess. And the Raiders have been a mess and will continue to be a mess.
Right.
But all of a sudden, the Broncos get Sean Payton. They found a quarterback, maybe, and the guy that played yesterday. If that's the guy, that's a problem, because I loved what he's been doing with his legs. He had some big time throws yesterday, some important throws, some winning the game throws, and Harbaugh and the Chargers are doing this despite their O-line being an absolute mess, losing both tackles. We all know he can coach. He's won everywhere. How long the shelf life lasts with the LA Chargers, nobody knows. Because Harbaugh's run in the NFL can be a short one before they get really sick of him.
But they have a quarterback too.
Yes, they do.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, who are you taking? And
right now, Justin Herbert, it's not close.
Of course, right.
I mean, it's not close.
Right. So, and
ask me that question again in February. Ask me that question again in February. I don't know how it might be closer. That's all I'm saying.
And the Raiders are very likely to draft a franchise quarterback. Now, got to get it right. Got to put a team around them. But, Mark, what was it that when the Patriots were dominating the AFC East, the Bills didn't have a franchise quarterback, and boy, did they try. Couldn't get it right until they finally got it right. We all know about the Dolphins' quarterback struggles. And the Jets went from Chad Pennington and Mark Sanchez and Geno Smith. I mean, that's 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder. And yet you ask a Jets fan, and hell, they don't think they've had it. They think Ken O'Brien's the best quarterback since Namath.
So the obvious reason why I asked you that is it's not going to be as easy for Kansas City to just get back on top of their division. This isn't one year where Brady was out and Brady comes back and everything was better again in New England. And we just picked up right where we left off, seemingly, for another 10 years. So do I think that the Chiefs will be a playoff team next year? I actually would bet on it right now.
Ooh.
I'll grab it early and bet on that.
Ooh, you know what? That could be another poll question for today. Right now, and obviously a lot's going to happen. Kelsey's going to retire. They're going to get rid of some guys for cap purposes. They'll make a couple trades. You know, they'll draft in a position they haven't drafted in a dozen years. You know, they'll get rid of some dead wood. You know, they'll look different next year. But they'll have Mahomes.
And they'll have the easiest schedule they've had in a decade. They will.
Sure.
Third place schedule is a third place schedule. Now with the 17th game, that's a third easier game than what Denver and the Chargers will have. So I'll bet on Kansas City to make the playoffs next year. But that doesn't mean I say they're, you know, it was like taking San Francisco this year. You looked at the schedule, you know, I happened to pick them, you didn't, but I did it based on the Moulton method. I looked at the schedule and went, man, this team should make the playoffs. When we looked at New England very early on in the season, after they finally got a win, we went, wow, this schedule could be a double-digit win team. And I'll be damned, it was. So I'll pick Kansas City to be back in the playoffs next year. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to win the division based on who they play, because you can't think about them going 5-1, 6-0 the way you really thought about the Patriots for most of the time of their dynasty.
Well, also in the last 10 years, we had this stat before the season started. The Chiefs against the 3 teams in their division for the last 10 regular seasons. They went 17-3 against the Chargers, 17-3 against the Broncos, and 17-3 against the Raiders. 51-9. And you're right, Mark. That's 5-1 every year. And throw in 1 6-0 year over a 10-year span. Those wins add up quickly, and the dominance of the division adds up quickly as well.
So I do like that for a poll question. If you want me to throw another one up today, I've got no problem doing it. Because right now, early voting on whether or not you're happy that the Chiefs and Mahomes are missing the playoffs, right now, 57% of you are sick of them. You're happy they're missing the playoffs. Congratulations for those of you not listening in Jacksonville. Largely, it's, you get Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. You get Bo Nix and the Broncos. You get C.J. Stroud and the Texans. No Joe Burrow. No Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we'll get a Lamar.
By the way, we'll play the game just for a moment. If the playoffs started today in the AFC, the 2-7 matchup would be New England hosting Houston. The 3-6 matchup would be the Jags hosting Josh Allen and the Bills. And the Steelers right now, a half a game ahead of the Ravens, are hosting the Chargers.
By the way, how big is it in the AFC right now to end up with that 5 seed? The Chargers and Bills are both 10-4. The Chargers right now are the 5 seed. In your estimation, how big of a difference is it if you're getting this Baltimore team or you're getting Jacksonville or Pittsburgh for that matter? But I'm sorry, I'm still betting on Baltimore.
Fair enough. Fair enough. To me, the interesting thing, if we believe, because remember, in the NFL, they reseed. So, like, anybody hot besides Denver, who's the hottest team in the AFC? It's Houston. They're the 7 seed. If Houston went to New England this Sunday for a playoff game, what would the spread be? Patriots by 2.5?
I was maybe even a little less than that, but yeah, you're right on.
So, that's going to be a one-play game. Buffalo going to Jacksonville. You know what I'm getting at here, Mark? If you're in the 5 hole, usually if we stay, the seeding stays, winner of the 4 or 5 game would play the 1 seed. There's no guarantee that the winner of the 4 or 5 game is going to play Denver. I mean, come on now. And same thing, by the way, if you're Denver. You're sitting there going, we're going to get the 4 or 5 winner. Not if Buffalo or Houston's the 6 or 7. You sure one of them won't win? Because remember, the NFL does it where you play the worst seed that advances.
All right, let me just ask you this question. Your guess. If it were, you put Pittsburgh or Baltimore, I don't give a damn. New England, the Jags, and Pittsburgh/Baltimore against the teams you mentioned. How many road teams do you think win out of the Chargers, the Bills, and the Texans?
2.
I agree. Don't know which 2.
Right.
Don't know which 2, but I'd be betting on 2.
We'll say, though, Mark, we may have an instance where in both conferences, you got to win 11 to get in. I mean, we got the 8-6 Lions and the 8-6 Colts, and they ain't close to a playoff spot right now.
No, they are not. By the way, just to finish it off, we'd get Bears and Packers for the 3rd time. I know they're going to play again this week, but right now the Bears are the 2, the Packers are the 7. We'd get Eagles, Niners, and we'd get Bucks, Seahawks. Same question in the NFC. With how it lines up as of today, the Bears, Eagles, and Bucks would be hosting playoff games against the Seahawks, Niners, and Packers. How many road teams you taking?
2.
I'm right there with you. And same thing. Don't know which 2. Pretty confident Seattle would beat Tampa. Don't know out of the other 2. Probably would bet on the Packers beating the Bears. But if they beat the Bears again this week, they play on Saturday, well, that'll flip-flop once more. And if you're a Lions fan, You're rooting for the Packers to win again. You are. You need that Bear team one game away from you. So on the final week of the season, you can play Chicago with a wild card berth on the line. But Detroit, their defense, I don't know if it's good enough to win 3 in a row. I don't. Offense certainly is. Don't know if the defense is. They got to create turnovers. They got to play the Vikings again. They got whooped by them last time.
Oh, Mark, the defense is definitely not good enough to win 3 in a row. It's just they can win a game. They can't win 3 in a row.
No, I mean these last 3 of the regular season.
I
don't mean in the postseason. Are you high? No,
okay.
I mean, can they win 2 in a row? Can they go beat the Vikings? And I think they've got one easy one. No, they got the Steelers and the Vikings. Steelers at home at the Vikings. Will Detroit win their next 2 so that if Chicago stumbles, that game is for a wild card spot?
Based on the way they've played, you'd have to say no, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that Detroit holds up their end of the bargain, and they play the Bears on Sunday Night Football with a playoff spot on the line.
Bears, a very tough schedule heading in. The Packers at home on Saturday, and then they've got an at San Francisco, home for Detroit to finish off the regular season.
San Francisco could be a 12 or 13 win third place team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Bears could win 11 and miss the playoffs. Miller and Moulton. Overreaction Monday. Are you happy that the Chiefs and Mahomes are missing the playoffs? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. The Pelican Roofing of text line wide open, 21,000 the number. If you've not texted the show in a while, you need to text the keyword 21,000, the keyword Miller to 21,000, and then your text come flying in. If not, they're sent to Michigan somewhere.
Right. And the guy who reads the text was in Los Angeles over the weekend. He's not even going to read the text till Tuesday. So we may not respond to some of your texts until tomorrow. Please understand. Until then, keyword Miller to 21,000.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michael, we talked about that either last break or at the end of last segment around 7:30. There were a lot of drops yesterday. My goodness. Cam Ward made a play, hit the receiver right in the numbers on the 5-yard line. He dropped it. It's like, golly. Sunny Navy had the bounces Saturday for sure.
You know, if they could have just pushed one in late instead of taking a knee, I mean, don't they understand there's a spread in that game?
Adam, he may not be there long. I don't know that they'll keep him.
I do like the idea of a Minshew Chiefs jersey. Adam, I would go with this company I saw on TikTok. I don't know if it's worth a damn. It's called U Jerseys. Instead of paying full price in the $250, they're like $60 a jersey, $50 a jersey. They're super cheap, all sports.
I like it.
Yeah, I was going to get Jacob Lindstrom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
By the way, the big fella hurt for the Lightning again.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Overreaction Monday, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show, live Oak Lake City, surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice, and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Overreaction Monday. And we're asking you, are you ready for the NFL playoffs that for the first time in 27 years, since Bill Clinton was president, since Michael Jordan just retired from the Bulls for the second time, Tiger Woods had only won one major championship. Tom Brady was at Michigan. Are you ready for the NFL playoffs for the first time since 1998 without Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes? One of those is part of a poll question. Without Mahomes and the Chiefs, are you happy? Or are you like, man, I'm going to miss them? Used to having them around. It was like Peyton and the Colts. It's like Brady and the Pats. What do you mean? The playoffs without Mahomes? Is that allowed? Do we have to check the rule book? Just saying. 1998. Last time we had an NFL playoffs with no Peyton, no TB12, no Patrick Mahomes. Damn.
Yeah. And the list of quarterbacks in the AFC right now isn't something that makes you jump up and down. But could be the new wave. And Josh Allen is going to have to do it on the road. He's the best of the bunch right now. Even if Lamar gets in, 2025 Lamar or 2025 Josh Allen. Because Lamar's not been healthy all year. He's not been right. This isn't the same guy.
Nope. Threw a couple touchdowns to alternate receivers yesterday. And the Ravens with their most complete game of the year. So we'll see. I mean, teams have figured it out late and gone on to have huge postseason runs. As many of you know, I'm a Giants fan. Their last Super Bowl, they were 7-7 before running the table. So we'll see what happens, whether or not it was just a blip or whether or not the Ravens are finally going to play like the team that many of us thought they were going to be. But, Mark, think about it. If you go back to the late 90s, the last time we had the playoffs in the AFC, well, really the NFL, but in the AFC, without Peyton, without Brady, without Mahomes. 98, Elway's last year. He goes out on top. Marino's second to last year. Jim Kelly had retired 2 years earlier. The big three, if you will, in the AFC. Two of them were walking, and one of them was walking in a year. The conference was transitioning. Is this the transition year? And are Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow, are they going to just be fighting to make the playoffs in the next couple years? And is Josh Allen and the Bills going to be the only constant?
Well, it's interesting because as I'm watching Baltimore whack Cincinnati yesterday, And Burrow threw a pick that got deflected. And I'm just like, I text my buddy who's a big Bengals fan. I'm like, are we seeing the end of Joe Burrow in Cincinnati? Because last week he said he's not having any fun.
Right.
And I was chastised by my buddy who listens to the show. And he's like, the national media made way too much out of that snippet of the whole presser. Okay. He believed it was Burrow telling Cincinnati to start getting things right. And we went back and forth for a little bit because, David, as you've pointed out a few times, Cincinnati drafted the right position. They tried to fortify their offensive line. They just missed.
Yeah.
On most every pick.
Yeah. Their picks haven't worked out. They've spent money on a couple guys. Most of the guys they've spent money on have gotten hurt or haven't worked out to the degree that they forked over the checkbook.
Now, you and I both think there'll be a new coach in Cincinnati next year. At least I do. I don't know if you do. I think there will be.
I do as well. Don't get me wrong. I think Zach Taylor will be scooped up very quickly. If not this cycle, he'll only have to wait a year.
And Tobin, the GM, is not well regarded by football fans and certainly by Bengal fans. But see, there's one constant about the Cincinnati Bengals. They're cheap. Really cheap. And Burrow's, to me, in a tough spot, David, when you get up and say, I'm not having fun, and you start acting like you have more demands. Because, refresh my memory, David, but didn't Burrow just demand that the organization pay his two receivers? And didn't the organization pay his two receivers?
Yes, they did, Mark. Yep.
Now, you could argue, did they pay the right players? You know, looking back, was signing Higgins the right move? I'm not going to ever say that signing Chase wasn't the right move. He's unbelievable. And Higgins is really good. But is that where you need, Pat comes on the show, he'll be on tomorrow. Pat always talks about the percentage of cap on your top three players. Well, they've put a lot of money into quarterback and wide receiver. It limits where you can spend it in other places. So while my buddy is convinced that this is nothing and Burrow's staying there, and I hope for his sake and for Bengals fans he does. Don't ever want to see a franchise quarterback demand to leave. But I think Burrow's got to hold up a little bit of his bargain too. Because they're trying to make their run, and that pick he threw against Buffalo, I can't get out of my head. I can't. 2 weeks ago. And the egg they laid against Baltimore. Yeah, it's hard to sweep, but they didn't even show up. So when you bring up Burrow in Cincinnati, I don't know how we can look at them as a serious contender anymore. Until they go prove it to us, they're just another team in the AFC, David.
By the way, the cap hit, if the Bengals did the unthinkable, would be just under 60, 56 and change. That's if they did it before June 1st. If they did it after June 1st, it would be less of a hit in 26, but actually you'd throw in more money over the 2 years as to what the cap hit would be. So, very unlikely. Plus, you figure new coach. I mean, they're going to have to invest in the defense. The defense isn't good enough. They tried to blame the defensive coordinator. Hendrickson's not going to come back. Let's hope he's healthy wherever he is next year. But yeah, Mark, that's why you wonder, is this a time of transition? The Bengals just had back-to-back 9-win seasons. Before that, they had back-to-back seasons where they went to at least the AFC Championship game. That's a really good 4-year run for the Bengals. I mean, it is. Now, they didn't make the playoffs the last 2 years, but they did have back-to-back winning seasons. So they've had 4 straight winning seasons in Cincinnati. 2 times going to the AFC title game, once going to the Super Bowl. That's really good in Cincinnati.
You're right. But, you look at Baltimore. We thought, I don't mean Miller and Moulton. I include Miller and Moulton, but not just Miller and Moulton. Most everybody thought that the Baltimore Ravens had a top 3 roster heading into the season. Many thought it was the best roster.
I did. I thought it was the best roster in the league.
Couple of injuries, that roster, and again, they lost some key parts, but a couple of injuries, the roster doesn't look nearly as good as we thought. And Lamar's been hurt all year. I don't know if Baltimore's going anywhere, but Pittsburgh certainly is. This team, whether or not they make the playoffs, to me is irrelevant. The defense got old overnight. The offense still lacks an identity, and there's no answer as who your quarterback is long term. So that division's a mess right now, David.
Right.
A mess. And Pittsburgh and Baltimore were 2 of the constants in the AFC.
Which is why I think it can be turned around quickly in Cincinnati. It's why I don't think Cleveland's as far away. If potentially they were to ever have a Commanders 2024 offseason or a Patriots 2025 offseason. Of course, they're going to have to find a quarterback. They are drafting 4th overall right now.
So maybe you're right. But I wonder how many of the teams, Houston, CJ Stroud, there's not a lot around him, and I like CJ Stroud, but he's done nothing to get you excited that he's the next great AFC quarterback this year.
Yeah, but they're 9-5.
No, I know, but they're not 9-5 because of the defense.
I know, but they've won the division back-to-back years. And they're 9-5 this year, and they've done it overcoming adversity. And look at Houston's record against the good teams in the AFC. It's actually pretty good. Tell you what, you want to play Houston in the playoffs?
No. David, I was looking more at big pictures. You're just talking about the AFC and what's coming. I mean, it's CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. I'm just talking about getting people excited. It's like, wow. Their fan base is sure. Beyond that, it's an interesting turning point. Oh,
yeah. No, it's a year of transition. This would be a year in which Alabama, Ohio State, name a few other schools in which, for whatever reason, it ain't happening for them. And quite frankly, the AFC playoffs kind of looking like the Heisman Trophy balloting. How fired up were people about the Heisman Trophy? How fired up they're going to be about the AFC playoffs?
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Aurora, because the Giants are worse. That's why. So funny, David. I had Washington written down to pick this week. I crossed it out. I'm like, well, Daniels isn't. They're not winning with Mariota playing. And Montana State covered.
Yes, they did. Montana and Montana State are meeting in the semis in the FCS. I don't think they've ever played in the playoffs before.
Oh, really? I thought, okay. I, for some reason, thought they did a couple years ago, but you pay a lot closer attention to that.
Or maybe not this late in the playoffs. I don't know.
Let's look at the Montana State football rivalry.
I guess it's a It's called the Brawl of the Wild, by the way.
Oh, they play for the Great Divide Trophy. And it's most commonly known as the Grizz Cat game.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Overreaction Monday. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, you know me, old soul, at times living in the past, but we've been talking about what a transition this year seems to be in the NFL and with the upcoming playoffs. And I was thinking, when is the last time that we had an NFL playoff season approaching in which it felt like a major transition? And I think I found the year, 1999. The dominant teams in the NFC in the 80s, it was the Niners. You know, yes, Washington, the Giants, the Bears, they had their moments. The Niners were the constant. The dominant teams in the 90s were the Cowboys, the Niners, and the Packers. Mark, in the 1999 season, Troy Aikman and the Cowboys would make the playoffs for the final time as that group. They got beat in the first round. Steve Young got hurt midway through the season. Never played again for the Niners. And Mike Holmgren had left the Packers after the 98 season to go to Seattle. And Green Bay went through a transition period. Green Bay didn't play in an NFC title game again until the 2007 season. Who did we get in the NFC? The greatest show on turf and the St. Louis Rams playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. Meanwhile, in the AFC, the dominant quarterbacks of the 90s were Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, John Elway. Kelly retired after the 96 season. Elway retired after the 98 season. During the 99 playoffs, Marino had his swan song. He got a playoff win, and then he left when the Jags humiliated them 62-3. Pittsburgh was in transition. Those teams with those quarterbacks were in transition. And Mark, do you know what the AFC playoffs look like? The AFC Championship game was the Tennessee Titans winning in Jacksonville against the Jacksonville Jaguars to go to the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning and the Colts were coming. They had won the division that year. Tennessee beat them in the first round of the playoffs. Brady doesn't get drafted until after that season. And we all know then that the Patriots are another year away. But if you really go back in time, in both conferences, 1999 was a year in which certain teams and franchise quarterbacks said, see ya, or we're finishing up. And the new guard was just arriving.
You know, David, I'm glad you took us down that road, but I do find this part interesting, and I know why. And I'm a little stunned because we have a few of them that are in our chat room, and we have a few of them that like to text the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. But you know who we really haven't heard from with their chest puffed out at all? The Eagles fan. Because we're talking about this transition, the Eagles are still going to win their division.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles may end up being a 2 seed. I mean, right now Chicago is, but Chicago's got a hell of a tough road the rest of the way. They might not even win their division. So you're right to speak of this transition that we're dealing with in the AFC and in the NFC for that matter. Although the NFC, we haven't really been able to figure out who anybody is that's not named the Eagles. And yet there they are. But nobody believes in them. Are we sleeping on the Eagles? Or is that broken?
I think it's tough to tell. They played a dreadful football team yesterday.
Right. I think Vegas is the worst team in the league.
Vegas hosting the Giants, by the way, in 12 days. Number 1 pick in the draft on the line.
And Tennessee's still there going, hey, we might do it again. I mean, the bad in the NFL is a whole nother level of bad right now.
Oh, no, there's a handful of teams that are atrocious.
Right now, New Orleans is drafting 7th. They have 4 wins. They're awful, but they've beaten Tampa and Carolina here. They're a heater, 2-game winning streak. I mean, right now, Giants, they've lost 8 in a row. Vegas, they've lost 8 in a row. Tennessee actually had a win a couple weeks ago, but they're still 2-12. Cleveland, the Jets, and Arizona, all 3-11. And Arizona went from being competitive for the first, 6-7 weeks of the season to being god-awful all of a sudden. They look as if they've quit. The Jets have certainly quit. And Vegas, if there's effort there, there's no talent. And, Max Crosby said all the right things. I want to play here, blah, 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 blah. If I'm Max Crosby, I'm walking into the front office this offseason and saying, why don't you see what you can get from me and send me to a contender? Because I can't play long enough for you that it's ever going to happen here.
And if I'm Myles Garrett, I'm doing the same thing after I break the all-time sack record. I am. Now, whether they do it or not is a different story, but I'm doing the exact same thing.
Myles is in a tougher spot because, he's already played that game and got his contract. But you're right, David. I mean, you have 2 of the premier defensive players in the league. One's team's 2-12 and the other is 3-11.
Listen, while we're playing hypothetical, right now Cleveland's drafting 4th. Let's just say Cleveland's pick a quarterback. But we'll stick with the kid who won the Heisman. In which Cleveland decides Mendoza's it, man. Mendoza is it. And he's the face that I want for the franchise and everything that we've put ourselves through in the 2020s. If you're Cleveland, do you offer Myles Garrett in your first pick to move up to 1? You're only moving up 3 spots right now. And I don't know how many more wins you're going to get. I don't know how worse they're going to be than this. Maybe they win one more game and they're drafting, 7th.
Well, they also have Jacksonville's pick. And let's just say Houston wins the division. If you're the Giants and I offered you Myles Garrett and pick, 19, would you take that or would you have to take my pick somewhere 4 through 7 in order to make that a deal?
Oh, yeah, I'm not dropping down from 1 to 19. Yeah.
It's Myles Garrett. I'm giving you a Hall of Fame pass rusher.
So what? We suck. We need players. No. No, it's not enough. Myles Garrett's the type of. But I was just wondering. Is Myles Garrett in the 4th overall pick? Is that enough to move up to number 1? If I was the Giants, no. Although I'd say, tell you what, can you hold on a second? And then I'd spend the day shopping the phone saying, hey, what would you give me for Myles Garrett? So maybe I'd do that deal, but I got to take the 4th overall pick too. I'm not dropping down to 19. One other thing to remember, the Rams have the Falcons pick. So the Rams could be picking somewhere between 29 and 32. But right now they also have the 10th overall pick of the draft. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. Rams take a look at where they are and go, we ain't never going to be this high again. This is our best chance to draft Stafford's replacement. Don't rule out the Rams and a quarterback.
This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I happened to see an Izzo presser on. I'm like, who did he unleash on?
Uh-huh.
And the guy's like, so you were 6-18 on layups, blah, 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 blah. You didn't make him against Duke. And he starts out and he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. You from East Lansing? And he's like, yeah. He goes, that's really good. I didn't even get that from my assistant coaches yet. That's a really good job. He goes, what? You think I'm going to say, please make lamps? No, we got two-a-days coming. We're going to unload.
Yeah. I'm going to run them like dogs. He basically said, we're in between semesters. The NCAA rules don't count. I am going to run these guys till they can't move.
But I mean, when you watch the start of it, didn't you think he was going to unleash on the reporter?
Totally. When he goes, where are you from? You were like, snap.
I will say on our system, Sparty's always struggled at Penn State.
Yes.
Always.
Yep.
Always.
It's got no atmosphere. It's an awkward road trip. Yes. You don't take them seriously in basketball. Totally. By the way, quick story. Tom Kelly of the Twins did that to me one time. We went down for a weekend series and stayed a few days, taped a bunch of stuff and brought it back to Fargo and ran like week-long stuff on the Twins. And it's when they weren't good, and they had like Marty Cordova and Brad Ratke. And so I asked a question, and I was in the front of the scrum. It was after a game. And he said, where are you from? And I went, and Tom had a reputation of being prickly. And I was like, CBS and Fargo. And he said, that's a very good question. I like that. And then he answered it. So the next day we're in the scrum. I'm in the same spot. And I asked another question. And it was an okay question. And he said, he answered it. And then before he took the next question, he said, not bad. Yesterday's was better.
That's fantastic. You remember?
Fantastic.
Hey, Aurora, I have not seen his name rumored to Michigan. I suggested that on Friday or Thursday or Friday. I've seen the Army guy linked to Michigan, but not the Navy guy. So I would be all for it if I were Michigan. They've got a reputation to fix. They're starting to get taken apart by the gymnastics coach boinking a student in a car on campus, the hockey coach, all of the football coaches that have gotten in trouble. How Wade Manuel still has and we can talk about that next if anybody cares. Ward Manuel, how he has a job is beyond me.
I'm going to make a prediction. They hired an outside law firm. He's done. They did that to cover their butt because they're going to fire him. And now, in my opinion, and so now when you go outside the family and get the outside law firm, you're covering your butt you're going to fire somebody, and lawsuits are coming.
And lawsuits are because now I've seen some prosecutors saying that the sexual harassment suits that this girl could have on Michigan based on and the fact that even more could have lawsuits on Michigan. There's a lot, the mental health aspect of it. If they say that there was talk of him not being mentally coherent before then and they fired him while he had, Michigan's got problems coming. Well, DeBoer said no twice.
If Michigan's attorneys can't beat Sharon Moore's attorneys in court, then their attorneys suck. Her attorneys, that's a different story. Ward Manuel's attorneys, we'll see. But my prediction, Mark, is that he's toast right before the NCAA basketball tournament. Michigan's going so well, they bury the news.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A lot went on over the weekend. We've been focusing mostly on the NFL. You sold on Mendoza, by the way? You sold on the Oregon kid? I mean, if you're Vegas, Cleveland, the Jets, Arizona, that's 4 of the top 6 picks in next year's draft. Okay? Are you thinking, oh, yeah, one of these guys is my franchise quarterback? Or are you thinking, we'll have Pat Kerwin on tomorrow. Ask Pat about the one time he had the first overall pick of the draft. It was a really bad quarterback class. He desperately tried to trade away the pick. He ended up taking Keyshawn.
So you've got Mendoza, you've got Moore, and you've got Simpson at Alabama that are projected to be the top 3 quarterbacks taken for what it's worth.
Yeah. We'll see. Guys will start working out. Right. Yep.
I think that Simpson had some moments, but there's not enough for me to get excited about there. More, I will honestly say the Oregon quarterback I've not watched enough of to have. I want to see this playoff, see what he does against, they're going to beat James Madison. Let's see what he does against Texas Tech. They're very physical. I'll be interested in that. Mendoza's been brilliant in spots. Brilliant. I mean, the comeback against Penn State, the throw he made to basically secure the Buckeye game. I will say the Penn State part was 2 of the better catches I've ever seen. The one on the sidelines and the one in the back of the end zone. They deserve more credit than the throws. But I will say this, David, you can win me over on a speech. The leadership part of this young man, the quality of person he is, he won that part.
It's funny.
Got that part done.
See, it's funny. While the speech to me is commendable, and honoring his mom who's battling MS and and his heritage and his younger brother, great. That's all wonderful. But if I'm an NFL general manager, do you know what to me was the most impressive part of that weekend?
All of his teammates going to New York to support him,
who paid their own way to go to New York to be there. Okay. And we're waiting for him in the post Heisman presser All right. And the way they reacted to him winning the Heisman, the whole adage about sometimes you got the quarterback and the teammates tolerate the quarterback. Remember, he's only been there 8 to 10 months.
Right.
He's a transfer. I tried to tell people this is Cam Newton. Exactly. Okay. And it was difficult to convince people of that in 2010. You had to be there. Cam Newton showed up with 24 fourth and fifth year seniors that he had to win over, and he had them won over by opening day. And you should have seen and listened to those guys and what they would have done for Cam Newton down the stretch that year. They would have walked on fire for him with no shoes on to carry him across the safety. And that, when I saw those teammates in New York, I thought about Auburn and Cam Newton and went, I'll be damned. Look at that. Now, that would impress me. And maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe this is fool's gold. And, there's a big difference between Saturdays and Sundays. And he's going to be dealing with older men. And you're an idiot for buying into that. But I don't know. When you're a quarterback, you got to be a leader of men. And when you've been there an hour, okay, to win them over like that, it impressed the hell out of me, Mark.
I'm right there with you. No, I mean, like I said, the person that you're getting, I'm pretty confident you're getting a leader. He's got the height, he's size, and all of those things.
He does. He's more athletic than you think. Yes.
Right. That throw he made in the Penn State game on the sidelines, that's an NFL throw.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I mean, it was a hell of a catch, don't get me wrong, on the side, but that's an NFL throw. That's that 20-yard out where you have to have arm strength to make that throw. He's got that.
If I'm an NFL GM, he throws the pick six at Oregon early fourth quarter, and now the game is tied, and Outson's going nuts. He's never been in a spot like this before as a quarterback. And now he's made the big mistake, and they're tied, and and he takes him 12 plays, 75 yards, and he was 5 of 6 throwing on the drive, and he hit Surratt for the go-ahead touchdown, okay? And he's going to be throwing to guys like Surratt on Sundays, right? And he walked off the field, and if I was an NFL person in attendance at that moment, I'd be like, now that is impressive to me. Coming off the pick six on the road, that's impressive.
There was a little broadcaster moment in the Heisman post ceremony following the speech that I got a kick out of. And it's probably just me because I do this for a living. But I think if you've listened to us, we've said it many times. I think in our business, in the sports media business, Dan Patrick's the best interviewer out there. I think he is. I think David and I do a terrific job of interviewing people. I think it's one of our strengths. But I learned something, 5-7 years ago, listening to Dan Patrick, when he was just talking about giving advice to other broadcasts. Make sure it's a question. Make sure that you ask a question and you don't just give a statement. Well, following the tremendous speech, Fowler is there with Mendoza, and he asks him a question. And then Fowler makes a statement and stops. And it really wasn't a question. And he pauses. And Mendoza looks at him and goes, "Oh, you looking for me to talk now?" And I about fell out of my chair. I'm probably the only one. These are the little things that Moulton and I do. These are our quirks. This is who we are. But I know you weren't watching that because I know you just saw the speech after the fact. But I got the biggest kick out of that because, again, he's a big dude. He's 6'5". He's looking down at Fowler. And he says, "Oh, was that a question?" Oh, my gosh, that was fantastic.
Now, there are dozens of examples of guys who were terrific guys, terrific leaders in college, and had the size, and it just didn't work. They weren't good enough. They were in a bad situation, couldn't play themselves out of it, whatever. Gary Danielson's come on this show, and when we talk quarterbacks, he goes, "Hey, man, I was there for Joey Harrington, and I saw him in college, and impressive young man, impressive leader. He wanted to take on the challenge of Detroit. He was tall enough, strong-armed enough, athletic enough. He was first guy who showed up in Detroit, last guy to leave, the whole deal. It didn't work. He checked every box, every single box. Didn't work.
But the numbers are there. I mean, his passing numbers are terrific. He can run a little bit. He completed over 70% of his passes. Is that the offense or is that the arm? We've asked that about a lot of Oregon quarterbacks too. They've got another one this year who's going to get drafted high. Who's the Oregon guy you trust in history there that you say, well, this guy did it?
Besides Stan Fouts.
That's a long time ago, my friend.
Yes, it is.
That's a long time ago. You got quite a few since then that haven't done a damn thing.
By the way, where did Joey Harrington play?
Uh-huh. I know.
Yeah, so, I know.
So, I mean, I'll be excited when we start getting into the draft and what people think. A lot of time before that. But as you mentioned, David, there are a lot of teams that are going to be looking for quarterbacks. And right now, the team you root for isn't looking for a quarterback, and they possess the first overall pick, that being the Giants. Tennessee right now with the third pick, same record as the Giants. So outside of that, Vegas, Cleveland, the Jets, Arizona, New Orleans, they all need QBs.
Well, the New Orleans one is interesting. All right. With it being a weak draft class at quarterback, will the Saints just stick with Tyler Shuck, who's doing okay here lately? So I have a feeling, Mark, they're just going to hang tight at that position. They may wait
agree, but I mean, I don't think they have the answer. I just don't think this is the answer. What's funny is, heading into this year, we thought this was going to be a pretty good quarterback class. I don't know if it is now.
Don't know if it is either. Don't know if it is either.
And if you're Pete Carroll in Vegas, how much longer you got?
Yeah, that could be one and done. That could be one and done. Because, by the way, forget quarterbacks. Let's just go coaches. Giants obviously are having a new coach. Vegas is too. Tennessee's obviously getting a new coach, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland, Stefanski.
Now Aaron Glenn may be one and done. I don't think he is, but I mean, if he were, would any? I mean, they've quit on him.
Well, I will say, I think they've also quit on management. I think trading away Sauce and trading away Quinnen. I think right now, if you're in that room, you're like, yeah, they don't want any of us. We're all playing for somewhere else.
Arizona, he gone.
Yeah, I think he gone. Right. So that's potentially 5 of the top 6 teams drafting right now are going to have new coaches.
Throw Taylor in. Cincinnati's got the 9th pick right now. He gone.
We think Atlanta, that Raheem going to be gone, and they would be drafting 10th if they didn't trade away their pick.
Right.
I mean that's 7 of the top 10 right there. And I don't know who's drafting 8th, but we didn't even consider them.
Washington, and Quinn's not going.
Right. So it's potentially 7 of the top 10 teams in the draft are going to have new coaches, with the Rams drafting at 10 in place of Atlanta, but you know what we mean. So.
And this is a weird NFL year because it's top heavier than you think by record. We don't necessarily trust the teams that have the great records. Maybe we should. But there is some bad football being played this year in the NFL.
Well, as you said, there's not much of a middle this year. Like in the AFC right now, take the winner of the North out of the equation. You got 6 teams, 9-5 or better. The Colts are 8-6. Listen, they had to call a 44-year-old guy out of retirement. They've lost 4 in a row. After that, the Dolphins are 6-7. So, I mean, you're looking at the AFC right now. You're like, yeah, we got about as many good teams as we got playoff spots. The NFC. Now, I think we still believe in the Lions, but they're on the outside looking in at 8-6, and that's it. The 2 North teams or South teams are 7-7, and everybody else is below that.
Right.
Minnesota 6-8, Dallas is 6-7-1. I mean, there's not much of a quality middle this year. There's the playoff teams, and there's really bad, and the middle is like applesauce. It is soft.
We haven't had this in a while. This is not the league Roger Goodell wants. He wants a bunch of middle, bunch of teams fighting for it. It will be interesting. And, and of course, what game are they putting against the college football playoff this weekend? Oh, yeah, Packers and Bears.
Right.
I will say when we get into the final couple weeks of the NFL season, there'll be big games. There'll certainly be games worth watching. But some of these divisional games will be snoozers.
By the way, looking forward a week from tonight, the 44-year-old guys on Monday Night Football. Now, it's the Monday before Christmas. People are busy. That's usually not a great, unless it's a marquee matchup. That's one that people may not watch. But I'm just curious, how many of you are intrigued by the 44-year-old grandfather story playing quarterback in Indianapolis? Because they're going to face an absolute must-win hosting the Niners.
I love that Phillip Rivers, in talking after the game, when asked about getting hit, he says, the one hurt. He goes, the other 2, they just got me ready to play. I kind of missed it.
Right.
They're twisted. They're twisted human beings, folks. They really are.
He said, every now and then I just say to my wife, I'd just like to go out there and get hit once and throw the ball around. And she's like, you're messed up.
Almost pulled off a miracle yesterday. Took a comeback from the Seahawks to take down Grandpa. Miller and Moulton on an Overreaction Monday. Are we overreacting to the quarterback class? Are we overreacting to the mediocrity? Should we be overreacting to the Broncos and maybe the Rams? Diamond District bonus hour. That's all coming up next right here, Miller and Moulton. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best,
Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's interesting. Bigger bust, Jamarcus Russell or Ryan Leaf? I always went Jamarcus Russell because he went 1 and Leaf went 2. I think it's Jamarcus Russell because he went first. Achille Smith was 3. Couch went 1. Donovan went 2. Achille went 3.
Did you see our boy Marty there? It was like, I don't know, 6-7 minutes left in the first half. He's playing with North Carolina. They went on a late first half run and ended up beating him pretty good. But I was like, come on, Upstate.
I think they lost by 18 or 20. I mean, that's not a bad showing.
No, but it was like 9 at the half. But I mean,
Yep.
it was like 7 minutes up in the half, and I'm like, and then I saw it was on CW. Like, hey, I'll throw this on if Marty's got a shot.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Overreaction Monday, the second to last one before Christmas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Pat Kerwin to join the show tomorrow. Monday Night Football tonight. Dolphins have won 4 in a row. But they had a bad day at the office yesterday because the Chargers won. Chargers were 9-4. Chargers have a difficult closing schedule. The hope was maybe the Chargers would lose, go to 9-5, then go to Dallas and lose and be 9-6. And then what? Final game of the year, aren't they playing Denver? I mean, you're looking at the Chargers going, hey, you could have a tough closing stretch here. Chargers won. Bills won. Houston won again. Yeah, it's, even if you run the table, I mean, the Chargers, the Jags, the Bills, they all got 10 wins. The best you can get's 10. And Houston's already at 9.
And they play the Raiders this week at home.
Right.
I mean, the Dolphins are done. They're done.
Yes. They had a bad day yesterday without playing. So to me, if you're a Dolphin fan, just lose. Might as well lose out. It's got a better pick.
I got the under. Please lose out. Just one more would be nice.
Dolphins winners of 4 in a row. Only a 3-point dog at Pittsburgh. I'll tell you, I am so fascinated by the first quarter. This is the geek in me. Threw the stat out 3 hours ago. Don't know if you're aware of it. So the Steelers have gone 63 consecutive games, not scoring more than 7 points in the first quarter. The last time in the last 4 years, they've only scored more than 7 points once in the first quarter. It was opening day of 2022. It was the first game after Roethlisberger's retirement. They scored 10 points in the first quarter. Why? They got a pick 6. Throw in a field goal on top of it, they scored 10 points. They then finished out that year 16 games. Finished out 23, 17 games. Finished out 24, 17 games. That's 50. And they've played 13 games this year. Have not scored more than 7 points in the first quarter in 63 consecutive games. They apparently did this one other time in franchise history when they were absolutely horrible in, I think it was the 50s or 60s.
David, right now, the first quarter Steeler total point bet is 3.5. It's basically even money. It's plus 110 if you go over, but minus 140 under 3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Never mind, can they somehow score 8 or 10?
Hell, the first quarter total points for both teams is 7.5.
Don't you have to go under?
Laying a little juice, minus 130, but I would agree with you. So does Vegas. That's why they're making it a little tougher on you.
Now, listen, there are a lot of stats because there are a lot of numbers. So you may have heard that and go, interesting, but what does it really mean? To me, what it screams is two things. One, Steelers haven't had great quarterback play since Ben. Hello. And number two, you know how certain coordinators are really good that lists the first 15 or so plays, and they could be a bad team, but boy, those first 15, 20 plays, they seemingly get off to a good start. Yeah, that ain't the Steelers. And Mark, because you're married into a Pittsburgh sports family, you got to watch their games every damn week. I mean, that also screams that the Steelers are playing even or from behind early a lot.
And they're not playing a very excited. The Steelers are fine with defense. Their fan base is, obviously, the Steel Curtain, etc. But you know why the Steel Curtain was so damn good? Because they always had the lead, David.
Right. Bradshaw could hit Swan and Stallworth and get the lead, and then they ran this Franco guy.
Right. And if they didn't run him, they had this Blyer guy that wasn't half bad.
Yeah, so, it was okay.
They played from the lead, and then you love your defense getting after the quarterback.
Right.
I'm totally with you. They've gone through a bunch of coordinators. Hey, you said this for a week, maybe longer. Does the loser of the AFC North fire their coach? Or does that coach just say it's time to leave? Because between John Harbaugh in Baltimore and Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, the fan base in Pittsburgh, I can tell you right now, is ready to move on from Tomlin. I don't know. You were in Baltimore. Don't know if you had your normal R&D that you like to do when you're in a town. I don't know if the fan base there is ready to move past Harbaugh, but I don't think they'd be too upset if they did.
Okay. So I left Baltimore 10-ish yesterday, and I probably had Baltimore radio for 90 minutes, at least, maybe even up to 2 hours, because I got lucky. I also found the Ravens radio network after I left Baltimore and I was in Southern Pennsylvania, and one of those, stations had Ravens. Okay. Fascinating. Mark, every single person, and I mean every single one who came on the Ravens radio network for the 2 hours that I listened, all they did was talk about how the defense sucks. The defense sucks. The defense sucks. Joe Burrow's going to torch them. The Bengals are going to win. There wasn't not one person getting paid by either the Ravens or the Ravens flagship station who said on the pregame that the Ravens were going to win. Not one. Vinny Serrata, Jason LaConfora, former players, a taped interview with RG3, you name it. They were all losing, and the defense absolutely sucks. Light them all on fire.
Well, Mark, what have the Ravens done defensively before that? Their run defense was good. I mean, the run defense wasn't half bad. But what do the Bengals do? Oh, they throw it all over the lot. What can't the Ravens stop? A passing game.
Right. So, but anyway, you asked about conventional wisdom and R&D. I was getting it from essentially the Ravens. I wasn't getting it from John Harbaugh. I wasn't getting it from the GM and the owner, but I was getting it from everybody else under them. Former players, all their announcers, and they were all wrong. So that's my R&D on the Ravens, that the people who cover them have no idea what to expect from them because they were all burying them. And they were beginning to bury the John Harbaugh era also. Don't kid yourself.
What else did we learn yesterday? I mean, we learned a lot to me about the Broncos. That's as good of a win as we've had in a while. That they took on the Packers. They were not favored to win. And Bo Nix played great yesterday. 4 TDs, no interceptions, threw for over 300 yards. They looked good in winning. Do we think any differently of the Packers by losing yesterday? I mean, the Rams, we already thought they were a really good team. They did whatever they wanted to do against Detroit yesterday. Stafford had no problem moving the ball up and down the field. Seattle, that's a little different. I mean, they were a 2-touchdown favorite over Indianapolis. They had to settle for 6 field goals. They won. But when you look at Darnold now against a good defense, is it the same thing we had last year? Can't figure out anything about the Eagles. They paid the Raiders. The Raiders suck. Nothing you can even take from these games. That's part of the problem right now in the NFL. And that's why when we have Pat on tomorrow, he'll talk about teams' records. What? Against other playoff teams.
I think we learned something else also. We learned that in the AFC playoffs going forward, Josh Allen is Superman. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be kryptonite somewhere, but that he and they are the X factor. He's that good. In comparison to what everyone else has, he's that good. That team is so flawed, it's embarrassing. That defense is soft. That defense isn't very good. That wide receiving core is bottom 4 in the league. It's as bad as the worst teams in the league's wide receiving core. It's bad. He's got a running back and a tight end and a good offensive line. And he spotted the Patriots 21 points. They're well coached. They're really good on defense. And the offense didn't turn it over. And he said, just give me the damn ball and get out of the way.
And their defense showed up in the second half because the Buffalo defense, I don't think's that good, but they were good in the second half when they needed to be. They shut the Patriots down. And that's tough to do in the second half against anybody, especially a good quarterback in Drake May. As I'm watching the first half, because I've always thought that Stafford's got the MVP, and I know not everybody cares about the MVP, but as I'm watching the first half of Patriots-Bills, I'm going, well, this isn't a foregone conclusion. Maybe Drake May is going to win the MVP. And by the end of the game, I went, no, it's Stafford's.
Do you think, because we went into the Big Ten championship game thinking the winning quarterback was going to become the front runner for the Heisman, do we think the MVP is up for grabs Thursday night in Seattle? Like, what if the Seahawks beat Stafford and the Rams? Does somebody then move ahead of Stafford? Or is he still the pick?
I think he's still the pick, David. I think Drake May, if he would have come back and beaten Buffalo after watching Buffalo take the lead, then Drake May would have a shot. Right now, I don't know who number 2 is behind Stafford.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Before you get going here, David, I would like to, at least one segment, talk a little college hoop.
Okay.
Unless you have something, I mean, we've kind of regurgitated the NFL, unless you got something else that you want to get to.
No, it's fine.
Because what Arizona and Michigan are doing right now is unbelievable.
They are destroying people.
Good teams, just kicking the crap out of them. Duke's going to have to get better, in my opinion, Sonny, to get to the final game. I know they beat Sparty, they beat Florida, but it's Boozer and guys right now. And Aurora, I will tell you with all certainty, I shouldn't say all certainty, with 90% certainty, I'm pretty sure I hate Duke more than I hate Notre Dame. I think Duke basketball be maybe my least favorite team in sports. Yeah, I think it is. Thanks, Aurora. And if your teams win, that's fine. I'm happier when certain teams lose, and that's one of them. But Duke's had my team's number forever. Sparty finally beat Zion that year. I mean, Michigan State can't beat Duke or North Carolina in the tournament. Just can't do it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, ugly. What's on tap today was the day when. It's all coming up in about 15 minutes time here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Couple of poll questions for you. So are you going to miss the Chiefs not being in the playoffs? First time in 10 years they haven't been in the playoffs. They've been in the AFC title game 7 years in a row. Are you like, yeah, I'll miss them? Or like, oh, man, I'm tired of the Chiefs. Please, give me at least a year reprieve. So
right now, 65% of you are sick of them. Miller and Moulton don't subscribe to that. We love greatness. We are just hoping that Patrick Mahomes returns as quickly as possible from the ACL and that it doesn't affect him because he's a guy, obviously, that moves around. His mobility is important. But you wonder, with Kelsey being as old as he is there another year left in the tight end? I don't know. He's had a productive year, but
yeah. And there have been times, though, where he's just looked like, he ain't the same guy. It's probably best if you just move on. I've seen more balls bounce off his hands this year than I remember seeing in past years.
But that's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Look, there's kind of a break right now. I know there's a couple games this week, and there'll be a couple next week, but we're kind of in the Christmas break mode for college hoop. College hoop is off to a terrific start.
Yes, it is.
A terrific start. You've got 4 undefeated left. Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Iowa State. Well, there may be some other, if there's some in another little conference I don't know about, I don't care.
Well, there's actually some big boys that we don't consider, Mark. Like, who'd you say again? Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and who? Iowa State. I mean, I think Vandy, Nebraska, and is it Maryland?
No, because Maryland just got whacked by Michigan.
Okay. I think Vandy and Nebraska.
Nebraska is impressive win by the Cornhuskers, by the way. Knocking down the 3 to beat Illinois on Saturday. Good, entertaining game. But what Michigan and Arizona are doing to teams right now needs to be recognized. They aren't just winning. They are absolutely beating the tar out of teams and good teams. I mean, Michigan was in a game with Maryland for a little bit, ended up winning by 18. The game before that, they beat Villanova by 28. They beat Rutgers by 41. Gonzaga by 40. Auburn by 30. These are not bad teams, and they are just destroying them. Anybody who's listened for a while knows that I have a love for Alabama basketball. Why? They're super entertaining to watch. They score a ton of points. They get up and down the floor. Yeah, they just hosted Arizona. They lost by 21. They also beat Auburn by 29. They had a close game with UConn, close game with UCLA, and a close game with Florida. Arizona's already beaten 5 ranked teams this year. They've only played 8 games. And Duke's got Boozer's kid, who's unbelievable. And everybody has an opinion on Duke one way or another. Iowa State beat Purdue last week, the worst loss the number one teams ever had. Purdue was number one going into the game. Iowa State whacked them. And Purdue's pretty good. So's UConn. So's Gonzaga. So's Sparty. Louisville, not all bad. Kentucky, there's a little bit here and there, but their best players hurt. North Carolina's got a decent squad. This could be a fun year with a lot of good blue bloods and then the next level in college hoop.
Throwing out Michigan for a second. They've beaten some ranked teams, as you've mentioned, Mark, and they've beaten them badly. They play 9 consecutive games against unranked teams. Beginning, they're going to end this year with like LaSalle and McNeese. And then when you flip over to January 1, it's okay, Big Ten games. They play 7 unranked teams in a row. Now, we've talked about it. You know, you go on the road in college hoop, you can lose. You really can. And they're going to go, you know, they're going to host USC. They're going to host Wisconsin. They're going to host Indiana. They're going to host Ohio State. They're going to go on the road to Penn State. Michigan State barely got out of there alive over the weekend. They're going to go to Washington. They're going to go to Oregon back-to-back. You know, for those of you that followed Pac-12 basketball back in the day, you know, it was tough to go on that Pacific Northwest trip and go 2-0 for anybody in the league. But, Mark, it's possible that we know the teams in the Super Bowl. When Michigan hosts Nebraska, that'd be right now, that's a pair of unbeatens. And then Michigan on January 30th visits East Lansing. But, I mean, it's really possible that you got a 19-0, 20-0 Michigan at the very end of January. I mean, Mark, how about that? I think they'd be 20-0 going to play Sparty.
Do you know how classless Sparty fans will be in that Michigan game with what's going on in Ann Arbor? We will set a new low. I'm so ashamed.
Diego Pavia.
You may hear the band play Mr. Brightside. That's all I'm saying.
You think Diego Pavia is going to watch that game on TV and go, man, Michigan State fans need to behave themselves? That was uncomfortable.
Diego Pavia's brother may say the same thing, David. And he's been arrested twice this year, I think.
But
I mean, the Big 12, who was year in, year out, the best conference in basketball, they're loaded again. We didn't even mention Houston, who's 10-1. BYU, who's got that great freshman. They're 9-1. Hell, Kansas has already lost 3 games. So's Texas Tech. They're both pretty good. So just saying, for those of you that are figuring out what the hell you're going to watch next, college basketball is off to a great start. And this is a little bit of a dead time because it's winter break. So they'll have a game here and a game there and kind of pick things up after the first of the year. But college hoop is off to a terrific start.
They've also set a record. They've had more ranked teams play one another in the first 6 weeks of the season than they've ever had before. There's been more sexy, good matchups early in the season than ever before. Good on them. Don't know if people are paying attention, but for those that are, you're like, damn, we've had some good games.
And not just these conference, automatics at the ACC, SEC games. I mean, Purdue played Alabama. Sparty played Duke. I mean, there have been just good games across the board. Gonzaga played UCLA over the weekend. So, I mean, it has been a really solid start to the college basketball season. It's just kind of giving you a warning. A little public service announcement.
I was going to say, don't know if it's a heads up. Don't know if it's a warning. But anyway, hair, the word's out. Do with it what you will.
That's all. We do know our audience in all of the markets that we're in, David. They seem to like college hoop more than NBA hoop.
Yes, they do.
And in the NBA, right now, we've got Oklahoma City and everyone else until proven otherwise. I know Wemby beat him over the weekend, but it's Oklahoma City and everybody else. The good news is that even though the team's not that good, Steph still seems to score 35 or more every time he plays. Miller and
48 last night.
The holidays are here, and we're wall to wall with thousands of GIA diamonds, 350 diamond bracelets, 225 pair of diamond studs, and thousands of other fine jewelry pieces, including Rolex watches.
And this is where Todd and I come in. We're in the store, right here with you, making sure you get the best value.
With this kind of selection and us guiding you through it, your gift will be the star of the season.
Visit the Diamond District today. Hablamos Español.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, I don't believe in the whole sportscaster jinx thing. I think it's garbage. I think if we had that much power, I mean, seriously, that's what we do with it.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The home stretch, final segment of the show on this Overreaction Monday. Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Do you believe in the sportscaster's jinx? We had Nick in the chat room say that Nance jinxed the Packers yesterday after he mentioned they scored on their first 5 drives. Well, what are you supposed to do? Not point it out?
David, I don't know if I believe in it, but I adhere to it. I broadcasted well over 1,000 hockey games. I never once said that my goaltender had a shutout going.
Oh, wow.
Never once. I'd say the score. I'd say things like he stopped all 30 shots he faced tonight, but the word shutout never came out of my mouth.
Wow.
And part of it was fun with superstitions. Part of it was the last thing I needed is the volume of the game tape to be on when the players are watching it and have a goaltender hear me say shutout and have to deal with that goaltender. So I adhered to it. I enjoyed it. You over there who say no hitter every inning if you had the opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I think if the sportscasters had that much power, you really think we'd spend it on a guy losing a shutout, on a guy losing a no-hitter,
David,
on a guy missing a kick?
I'm not saying that the sportscaster has power, but what is it that you believe in far more than me? And I get in so much trouble around my house when I bring this up because my very Catholic wife, who's raising our daughter to be very Catholic, and, you know, there's one God. When I start mentioning the sports gods, oh, man, do they go nuts around the house. You believe in the sports gods.
I do.
It doesn't mean that you have the power. It means that the sports gods do, and they can take it out on you.
That's true. I should probably look at it differently. All right? Because, yes, I'm superstitious, and B, I do believe in the sports gods. Absolutely, I do.
One thing everybody's going to have to believe in differently is how college football teams act, because Maryland, South Carolina, and the real USC all made announcements in the past couple of days, all about re-signing their players.
Right.
Sellers re-signed with South Carolina. The quarterback who started out pretty well for Maryland, then lost like 8 in a row, re-signed with Maryland. And USC announced not 1, 2, 3, but 4 players have been re-signed by the Trojans. That's college football in 2025. I will say, for those of you that don't like it, I get it. I understand it. And you don't like the portal, but it's really easy. If you made them employees and you signed them to 3-year contracts, you wouldn't have to deal with this now, would you?
No, you wouldn't, Mark. You really wouldn't. I thought there was one other announcement that got buried over the weekend. Isn't the Big 12 now beginning to go down as a conference? Wasn't there something about the Big 12 and private equity money? I thought
I
that
did not.
came.
It may have, I know the Utah thing happened. I did not see the Big 12. If it did, I missed it, David. I'll be really honest with you.
All right, I'll look that up while you do what you got to do.
Sounds like a plan.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1791. Virginia gives its approval, which ratifies the Bill of Rights and Amendments 1 through 10 of the U.S. Constitution. Sitting Bull killed today in 1890 by Indian police at the Standing Rock Reservation in South Dakota. The first hockey game at MSG was today in 1925. La Habitants defeated the New York Americans 3-1. Gone with the Wind premiered today in Atlanta in 1939. Eisenhower got his 5th star today in 1944. Folsom Prison Blues is 50 years old today. It was released in 1955. It was re-released and became the Billboard Song of the Year in 1968. Today, in 1973, the American Psychiatric Association reverses a century-old decision saying that homosexuality is not a mental illness or a sickness. 2 things in 74. I'll start with the fun one. Young Frankenstein opens in theaters. Aerosmith was recording Toys in the Attic, and they took a break to see the film. Laughed their tails off when Igor tells Dr. Frankenstein to walk this way. They went back to the studio and finished a song they'd been working on. It's Walk This Way. Also today in 74, Jim Catfish Hunter is ruled a free agent by an arbiter. The first free agent in modern baseball history, after A's owner Charlie Finley fails to live up to the terms of the pitcher's contract. 1979, the board game Trivial Pursuit is developed. Today in 82, Bill Parcells becomes the 12th head coach of the Giants. Today in 92, Dr. Dre releases The Chronic. We found Snoop. Today in 93, Schindler's List premiered. That's a toe tapper. 95, the movie Heat is released. 97, the Niners retire Montana's number 16. 2004, $1 Million Baby, another toe tapper, that was released. And the Raiders played their final game in Oakland today in 2019.
I was at their second to last game.
Right.
For whatever that was worth. By the way, Phillip Rivers was the starting quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, I think, at the time.
Their last game in Oakland today in 2019, they would allow 17 unanswered second half points and lose 20-16 to the Jags.
Yep.
Alan Freed, who popularized the term rock and roll, Tim Conway, and Nick Buttaccani would have all celebrated birthdays today. Don Johnson, 76. Rodney Harrison, 54. And Kayvon Thibodeau is 25. What did I miss, David?
Not much. No, you hit on all of it. I'm trying to think. I thought I had one thing. The only thing I wanted to mention, so Catfish is a free agent today. He was in limbo for a while. The Yankees were the ones that swooped in and signed him. Huge money deal. 5 years. $3.75 million. $750 a season. Monster contract. The rest of Major League Baseball was cursing George Steinbrenner publicly.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, it's something you probably do anyhow, but you didn't know it made you smarter. A study at Johns Hopkins University suggests that sniffing your own gas boosts brain power. I'll leave it at that. For the bad, we go to Tampa, where James Maniteris does work around the house that I would never consider doing. He was up on the roof sweeping off leaves from his roof. It was 3 stories high when the 86-year-old slipped.
Uh-oh.
And was hanging from the 3-story home. At 86, a neighbor walked out and saw his legs hanging over the side of the house and called 911. He said, as soon as I heard the sirens, I thought, yep, this is what I need. It was a 30-foot drop to the gravel below, but first responders helped get him back to safety. And finally, the ugly, we go to Delaware, where what is it you can't fix, David?
Stupid, Mark.
And Keon Baxter is definitely stupid. The 21-year-old stole a Hyundai Sonata, which, first off, if you're stealing cars, do a little better. But that's not what makes him stupid. You see, after stealing the car, he left it running and unattended outside of where he dropped it off at. Police found the stolen Hyundai and towed it. He then called the police the next day wanting his personal items that were in the stolen car, which then allowed police to realize that he was the idiot that stole the car. That, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Monday, December the 15th, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, terrific pay, overtime opportunities, and other jobs available. For all information, go to capecops.com. capecops.com.
Well, the NBA Cup is tomorrow night. You know, not to say that the NBA is, not going to play games. It's just that the game between San Antonio and the Knicks is tomorrow. The Heat are hosting Toronto, for what that's worth. Your Pistons are in Boston to face the Celtics. It'll be on Peacock at 7 o'clock. Houston at Denver. It's a nice doubleheader. I mean, if you're not interested in the Dolphins and the Steelers, Detroit, Boston, Houston, Denver. It's a pretty good NBA doubleheader on Peacock. Those are 4 winning teams. So, just saying. NHL. Panthers, Lightning, 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Isn't this going to be a brawl fest?
I don't know. The first one wasn't at all.
Wasn't there a hit late in that game, or am I thinking about a different game?
I mean, there wasn't hardly any penalties in the first game between the two.
Okay. Florida at Tampa Bay, 7 o'clock tonight. Everything else on ESPN Plus, and the everything else is 4 other games. By the way, just for the heck of it, I did the NHL standings with regulation wins getting 3 points and shootout and overtime getting 2 and, losses getting 1. There's only one team that's currently in the playoffs that would be out. The Flyers are currently in. They'd be out. The Penguins would be in their place. Now, what place teams are in would be different. Matchups would be different. And the big difference, Mark, you'd have clear separation between the teams. So you could, if we presented this evidence to the NHL would look at it and go, well, it's probably the more, quote, fair thing to do. But why do I want more separation? Doesn't my regular season have more excitement and intrigue if I keep them closer together?
100%, David. I mean, that is the part of this. While you and I both like this idea, the competitive balance in hockey right now has never been better.
No,
and
it
that's
is not.
What leagues want. They want as many teams with what? Winning or hope. And right now there's a lot of hope in the NHL. Hell, I didn't look this morning, but my guess is there's probably 5 teams whose record's below 500. The Sabres have been the only one in that entire conference with a record under 500.
Well,
there's a couple on the other side.
Well, and in fact, now the whole Eastern Conference is 500 or above because the Sabres have won 3 in a row.
Okay. So you've got, Calgary and St. Louis and maybe a couple others in the West.
And Nashville, right. Let me throw this out there tonight. Dolphins have won 4 in a row. They're averaging 22 points a game. If I give the Dolphins 22 right now, do you think it's enough to win?
Yes. Final score 22-21.
Okay. All right. Steelers favored by 3.
And Tomlin's never lost a home Monday night football game. Does he do so tonight? Pat Kerwin tomorrow. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. This December, watch the nation's best high school basketball players compete in the City of Palms Classic. Fort Myers will once again welcome future college and NBA stars as they square off at Suncoast Arena from December 18th through the 23rd. Come see Southwest Florida's own Bishop Verreau versus Barron Collier on Sunday night, December 21st. For tournament information, please visit cityofpalmsclassic.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700.
That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton